You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. The most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Frustration get the better of you and make you do things you should never do. You got to keep the faith, you can't surrender. You never know, tomorrow may be brighter. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now, we gotta keep on trying. Keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. As long as you have health and strength, reaching your goal, nothing should prevent. Every time you fall, get up again. Don't sit down there like that and complain. You got to stand up and continue fighting. Don't give up, keep courage, you must win. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now, we gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Obstacles will get in the way, stumbling blocks to hinder your day, but you can't afford to let them stop you. No matter how hard it is to go through, you got to stand up and continue fighting. Endurance shall win in the ending. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now, we gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Strong positive mind, negative thoughts, leave them behind. We got to go forward in sure certainty. Let no element humbug that possibility. But if you give up, you have no way of knowing if next day would have brought good tidings. Don't you know, behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now, we gotta keep on trying. Oh Lord, we gotta keep on going. We gotta keep on moving on. Behind every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't give up hope now, we gotta keep on trying. We gotta keep on going.
placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should.
Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself.
You are
a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. You are a child.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. People see you smile, but don't hold the hurt that you're feeling.
your heart does be bleeding? Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? Lord Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we say it doesn't matter what color T-shirt you wear. You wear a purple T-shirt, a burgundy T-shirt, an orange T-shirt. Each and everyone is welcome on Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics. Doesn't matter what planet you're from. You're from Mazatanius, Xenoranius, Sonoranius. Each and everyone is welcome on Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you. And you know, we are the only program on the planet with an oath/pledge to the people that we bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Take a listen.
Anselm LeBon and Marshall Nesbitt solemnly swear to conduct this radio program in a true, fair, and balanced manner, ensuring that all perspectives are given equal consideration and that the information presented is objective and unbiased. We pledge to provide a platform where diverse voices can be heard, fostering open and constructive dialogue that serves the best interests of our audience and community. Our commitment is to uphold the principles of journalistic integrity and ethical broadcasting throughout the duration of this program. Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our oath/pledge to you, the people that listen to us here on WZYU 95.9 FM. That we are not going to mislead you. We are not going to bring you information that's untrue. We're going to bring you the facts and the whole facts, and nothing but the facts. Let me say a special hello to my one and only, my good buddy, my friend, young man by the name of Uncle Tommy. Tommy, welcome.
Good afternoon, Professor. How are you today?
Today's a fantabulous day. I can't complain at all. You know, it's nice
Yeah.
and cool. I just see the Jets lose that game there. You know, the Jets play Minnesota in London, and
Mm-hmm.
they lost. They had a good performance, but you know they lost. But other than that, um, it's been excellent, and I really can't complain. No complaints at all, at all, at all, at all.
Great, great.
So everything good?
Well, it's a wonderful day. It's an eventful. It's a milestone of a day.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm thankful for today. I've seen the light, and it's not just an ordinary day, as you know. It's a special day for me.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful.
Yeah, well, tell us what's the special day. I mean, why you keeping it to yourself?
Well, today I make 3 scores and 10, which is a is a it's a major step.
It's a momentous occasion. Momentous occasion. Take
Yeah.
this, Tommy.
Thank you, Professor, and I
Yeah,
want to say thanks to the Most High God for allowing me to see this day, because I know my partner, my mate, didn't make it. So I'm grateful.
Well, Tommy, um, life is a funny thing, eh? And you never know, you just never know, you never know. But we are happy to know that you are still with us, and you 3 scores and 10, man. That's a big deal.
Thank God for that, man.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. 3 scores and 10. You can't complain about that at all. You know, uh, I'm like, ach- here we go, here we go. All right, I want to play something here for you. Hold on a minute, yeah. Let me get this one here. Let me skip this. All right, I think I want to play this. Hold on a minute before we start. We go here to this, and I'm sure you know this fella, or the fella who write or sing this.
If it is your birthday is the day.
Happy birthday, happy birthday,
If you plan to celebrate, I say,
happy birthday, happy birthday.
it's a good day for having a party. A good time to get next to your baby. Gather around all the friends who you value. Join with them in a toast as I wish you happy birthday. Happy birthday. May your child is running over. May you always have a dollar. May you live on for a million more. Just for you, I sing this song today.
Happy birthday, happy birthday,
Whether you are near or far away,
happy birthday, happy birthday.
even though time is making you older, experience is to make you much wiser. Let the past be your lesson and teacher, and look forward to seeing in the future. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. May prosperity be with you. May all of your dreamings come true. May you live to score a million more.
And of course,
Yes, I want to thank you. Thank you so very much.
saying a special happy birthday to Uncle Tommy, boy. Uncle Tommy at the young sprite age.
Yep,
3 scores and 10, boy. 3 scores and
three
10.
scores and 10.
Yeah, boy. Tommy, boy, I'm telling you, man. Today's a splendiferous day as far as you are concerned.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We can't even. Hey, listen, it's happiness all around. Yeah,
Yes, indeed, yes.
guys. Let me quickly go to the chat.
Yep.
Hanif says, "Good afternoon, Prue and Uncle Tommy." Mova Defender, welcome.
Blessed evening, Uncle Worship, and special evening to Uncle Tommy on his milestone.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
More life, Uncle Tommy, more health, more strength. Keep up the fight.
Yeah, man.
But a lighter note, Uncle Tommy, right? You know, if you was a PNM, you would not make it. If you was strictly a PNM. Because I don't know if you know worship, I believe you're supposed to know this. Every other prime minister of the People's National Movement died at 69 years, except this devil.
Wow.
So I don't know. What kind of history is that?
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know what type of history is that. Everyone from Eric Williams to Chambers to Patrick Manning, each died at 69 years old.
Wow.
So Uncle Tommy, great job. Keep up the good work. But Uncle Wall Street,
Yeah.
I want to start somewhere today because it bothering and here what happened. Nobody's speaking about it. And I always really want to think on a different level because watching a very, very, very strange occurrence happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's keeping very quiet. The people we are charged, who we put in charge to see about our safety when it comes to the police service. Two incidents are happening right now in Trinidad and Tobago with the police service that we have to ask ourselves now, why is the murder toll so high? A man was kidnapped recently last week.
Yeah.
A central businessman.
Mm-hmm.
When they do the trace back, they saw is a police vehicle, alleged police vehicle, did the stopping of the guy. Right? A week after, some officers was charged, and then they find the man body in a shallow grave in London. Right? That's one. Two, let's have an instance with a guy from Chaguanas, was shot 18 times last year. His name is Karen Alexis. His last name sounds familiar. He's the son of Robocop, deceased Robocop. He was shot 18 times by the police, and he lived. And he's releasing some videos right now. Watch. I'll put you onto his page. For you to take a look at this. And the guy have all his evidence, video evidence, everything. You have everything. But it was the strange thing, watch it. These police officers are still on duty. So I brought up this instance to talk to you about to jog your mind about something. What is really going on in the land by the people who's really supposed to be keeping us safe? Are we supposed to be frightened about the police now?
No, I think.
But
Mova Defender, I think many people always kind of frightened about the police. That's why a lot of people don't go in and give the police.
We are frightened because they're actually gangs, but now they're doing it for themselves.
Oh, wow.
They use a police vehicle in the Wall Street. That police uniform with a civilian vehicle, you know. They use a police vehicle in the Wall Street. And the gentleman is dead right now today.
Wow.
That's scary. So what to do now? When we see the police, what to do? Stop or don't stop?
Why?
There's a serious thing. Watch it. You realize I come in and get all my greetings, but I ain't talking no politics. Well, that is also politics, but I ain't talking politics. Because this is a serious, dangerous thing. Watch it. You hear these stories?
No, that's serious.
This is dangerous, a dangerous time in Trinidad and Tobago. So I say, man, bringing that fatal drug, just get yourself some thoughts. I'll put you onto the fella page to see some of the things what he's saying. And this is a scary day in Trinidad and Tobago.
Thanks, man.
Enjoy your evening till I come back in.
Yeah, man. Later.
Yeah, thanks for your contribution, Mova Defender.
Hold on, Tommy.
It's sad.
Tommy, and we don't play this song for no reason.
A big one. Oh, yeah, really go. I've got this gun. Listen, man. Yeah, hear me now.
Right into the
Caller, welcome.
Hey, good
Mr.
evening,
Furner,
Mr.
welcome.
Ansam. Good evening, Mr. Tommy. Hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Good evening to all the callers and all the texters, all everybody on the live. Hey, Mr. Tommy, I wishing you a happy birthday. I think you know in Trinidad because the uneducated is the one in Trinidad who doesn't live long. So good thing you know in Trinidad, Mr. Tommy, because you look like the educated one that's go early in Trinidad. But Mr. Tommy, I have a few words right down here for you to say. I say, may your birthday be as heartwarming and beautiful as the love, the compassion, and education you bring into every life on this program. Thank you very much, Mr. Tommy, for all you'll be doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just say that. I just get Gordon Joseph says, Tommy, God promised that 70 if you behave for it. What does that mean, Tommy? You understand that?
The Bible gives the promise of 10 if you live right. And,
so that means to say you behave for it? Is that what that means?
well, I guess
No, I don't understand the truth. I don't understand. Oh, how about Tommy that God promised you 10?
10, which is 70.
Right. How about that?
Yes.
Why you have to add on to the end of it? I'm just asking. I'm not sure because I'm not a Bible person.
Well, I think supposedly if you live right, you'll get that.
That's what that means.
I think the Bible also says that. Let me.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up too. What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say about? Hold on. KFC inside. KFC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washington. Good afternoon, Uncle Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm gathered and all coming. I am wishing Uncle Tommy happy birthday. Today's his birthday?
Yeah, today's his birthday. 10.
Well, I wish him more life, health, and strength and prosperity.
Yeah.
Thank God. He out there for us here.
Yeah.
Preparation, as my boy say, frightened to live. But Mr. Washington, I ain't partner going up to get a corner. Uncle Demon. And see the big prime, yeah, Uncle Demon, see when he go in the Prime Minister office, I set up panties, stick up inside the bathroom and then,
you know, I would like the Wassa workers to confirm that, boy. If there is not another lie, I don't know. I just like to know.
But I want to know which one of them panty keep on this small and the panty crutch only calling Kamala the man blaming Kamala for everything going on in this country.
Like, when I hear that fella say that, I'm like, where would that fella go, boy? You know what I mean? I'm Prime Minister, you know.
But what shit I sit down and taking that fella, and that fella realized he supported them like the bacchanal and the commerce and the lies and the propagandas and things. Them doesn't tell anybody vote for policy opportunities. You know. Them vote on bacchanal.
That is it. Yeah.
They like the bacchanal. But what I touched him and pull out that was he not going after 10 years, you not going, find panty?
No find it. 10 years. Them panties sticking there for 10 years. 10 years them panties.
I feel one them panty have them do just you're talking about Kamala Professor. Mr. Tommy, happy birthday, more life and attention with the cake, boy.
Yeah, we're gonna do a virtual cake pretty soon and everybody will get peace.
Yeah. Let's live and let live, man, and continue doing your good work. You and Uncle Tom Mr. Washit. I look to listen.
Thank you.
Panty talk start for this election and I gone.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Over defender.
Well, she gotta come back in for a few reasons.
Yeah.
I don't think God say, to my understanding of the scripture, he said, man brought it down to three scores, three
scores and so move on defender. Stay
10.
right there. Yeah, what it is, right? The first 3 scores and 10 originate from Psalm 90:10 in the Bible. In this context, a score is equal to 20 years. So 3 scores and 10 means 20 years. The verse states, the days of our years are 3 scores and 10. And if by reason of strength they 4 score years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it soon cut off and we fly away. This verse reflects on the brevity and challenges of human life, suggesting that a typical lifespan is around 20 years. And even one lives longer, those extra years often come with difficulties. That's why I was asking the question because I don't know.
So a typical lifespan is 20 years or 70 years?
Say that again? 70 years, around 70 years.
Right.
And even one lives longer, these extra years often come with difficulties. That's what it says.
Right, but because it was higher than that, and I think it's because as man sinned, it came down to that. Right? So you don't have to behave good or bad, because if that was true, then Dr. Rowley would not be alive today. No, let me be honest. So it's not that he had to live good or bad. That was what promised a man.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of
and one more.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, move a defender. Go ahead.
Right. One more thing. I hear KFC say pick and corner. KFC, you made a mistake because they did not go pick and corner. I went on Mako. They went in Belmont Community Center and it had nobody. They put chairs, I think, outside Wall Street, and they could Wall Street first political meeting I see can pass through without traffic in Belmont Community Center. People did not come out because the morning of that pick and corner, what they do every year, is the only year they never did that. Every year in history, they go by pick and corner after the budget or during the budget.
Yep.
Right? But here what happened on Wall Street, it had a shooting right on pick and corner the morning. So apparently they did not want to go there and went to Belmont Community Center and nobody went. I passed there twice. I went to Savannah to buy something. So they even break history. They even break the history last Friday night. Because normally they go by pick and corner. So KFC they didn't go by pick and corner.
Yeah, man. Bless.
So I just want to make that correction.
Yeah, man. Blessings. Yeah. Tommy, you know,
Yes.
Tommy, I don't mean to pick on stuff, eh? Seriously. I don't mean to pick on stuff. You know, but sometimes when you type something, you should go over it and maybe you need to delete it and type again. You understand? We trying to celebrate your birthday today, right? And you have to add on extra state, boy. Really, boy? And you're a Bible person? Nah, boy. Nah. Something had to be wrong with you. Caller, welcome.
Hey, good evening again, Mr. Answer, Mr. Tommy. Yeah, Mr. Answer, I agree with you. You know, because why go and don't tell them little children who get shoot? Was they sinners at 3 and 4 years old?
Yeah.
So was they sinners? And God would not grant them to 70 years old? You see, everything in this country now, Mr. Anselm, is always Bible. It's always these PNM people has been talking about Bible. And they know the real meaning of it. So tell all them little children who get shoot and killed, who didn't sin, never sin in their life didn't even start yet. Why didn't they get the 70 years? Look on listening.
Yeah, man, bless. Tony, God promised that 70 if you behave for it. By the way, so you know what? Sinners divorce in the Bible where says that. Let me back up, Tommy. Sinners divorce. You know, Tommy, I'm very disappointed. No, I'll be honest with you. Not my birthday, right?
Well, you notice I ain't saying much because I really am trying to take it on.
I know what you're saying, Tommy, and You know, but Tommy, sometimes is that Tommy, you just say stray dogs don't bark at every car door that goes by. I learned that from you. And I just repeat that many, many, many times. Because it is so true. It is so true. And here we start off the program talking about you and your 10. And a man have to come, a Bible pumping man, a Bible conscious man who always talks about the Bible. And this is his behavior. Lord Father, please put a hand.
I still think he means well.
No. Let me not misunderstand. I fully agree with you that it means well. But you know, Tommy, sometimes you have to leave well alone.
Anyway.
You have to leave it alone. And when you type something, you have to look at it and go back and say, you know what, boy? Maybe I don't need to go there today. Maybe another day, but not today. Let me listen to him.
Let's move on.
Let me listen to him.
I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. One more time. I'm frightened to live.
Caller, welcome. Mr.
Good
Intellectual,
afternoon.
welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Uncle T.
Good afternoon, sir.
I hope that you enjoy your day and that God has blessed you with.
Thank you.
They were making that statement there, 3 scores and 10, and if by reason of strength, even 4 scores or more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
God promised us that once we are obedient to his will and we do all that we can with the knowledge that he has given us, right? He would sustain our lives accordingly. Like in the commandments, it said that honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. You know? So it goes to show that you had some discipline in your early years, and God has blessed you with the years that he has ordained for your life. And because you have strength, right? The strength that he has given you, he added even more. You understand? Because no, you check how the world is going today. People are making it to 70 again, you know. Hardly are finding, especially this young generation here. They're falling off the road very, very easy. And we can't find them again. You know, so I just wanted to enjoy the day, know that the Lord is blessing you immensely, and he will give you the strength and the courage to continue as long as he desires to fulfill his mandate and to ensure that the work that he has appointed you to do, that you accomplish it any time that he has allotted for you, you know? So I just wanted to know that, hey, stay strong. God is on your side. And we are not in a fear for the future because we have seen the way how he led us in the past to this point. So we are not in the fear for the future. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. That's appreciated.
Sing. I'm frightened to live. I build me a coffin. I'm making my home because that is my only choice. This kind of life, I leave it alone. Because when I look around and I see man raping their own daughters mercilessly, man living with man, woman with woman. So how must I live? I can't understand. Look, I'm frightened to live. Boy, I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Yeah. A bandit in my face with a gun. Take my guns and began to run. I'm in the station reporting what the bandit do. I was the same bandit I was reporting to. Look, I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Come again, let me hear. I'm frightened to live. Where you? I'm frightened to live. One more time, come again. I'm frightened to live. Hey, I'm frightened to live. Hear me now. It is so obnoxious when I look around. Things I just hear and see. My God, how could I go on? Children killing children every day. Parents guiding their children to go astray. Tell me how those youths getting all those guns and where in the world those guns coming from? Yes, you are frightened to live. Where you? I'm frightened to live. You come again. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Hear this. If in my ceiling they find coke and gun, it's my whole family they carrying down. But if the police get caught with this every friend, all they getting is transfer to do crime again. You see, I'm frightened to live. Hey, I'm frightened to live. Sing. I ain't no guys. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Come again, let me hear. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Music. Now you see this verse? This verse is my verse. I want to listen to my verse. My verse. I want to listen. If our child could die by the hands of a bandit, police may halfway search, they may never catch a culprit. But if Mr. Big Man child end up dead, they're going to paint the old damn tongue red, putting out all force and energy, finding the killer immediately. So how must I live? Well, I'm frightened to live. Come again, I'm frightened to live. Hey, get this. I thought the church, that's the answer. Listening to the speech on the altar, while taking in the words of the Almighty. You know the priest felt in sweet at me, is he I'm frightened to live. Well, I'm frightened to live. Sing. Come again, let me hear. I'm frightened to live. Hey, I'm frightened. One more time. Yeah.
And of course, that's what's happening in our beloved country of TNT. People frightened to live today. They're frightened to live. They're frightened to live. Yeah, they're frightened. Yeah, KFC. KFC.
Mr. Washit, good afternoon, Uncle Tommy. Mr. Washit.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we hearing you. Go ahead.
Well, Uncle Tommy singing that song, no? Uncle Tommy singing, I want to live. I want to live. Mr. Washit.
Yeah.
Uncle Tommy live. Mr. Washit, Uncle.
Yeah.
My buddy boy. He that the price that scale.
I ain't even know.
Correct.
Tommy.
Yeah. When this my cream birthday too.
Yeah,
She's a Libra too.
Tell I say happy birthday.
And Friday, my brother also. Brother will pass away.
Yeah.
I'm going to this weekend. You're going to kill something up. But she birthday that day, the Friday now.
Yeah, man.
So all the Libras now there. That Uncle told me just take key. You know, was take care of it too.
Yeah.
We start watching. That's live right over here. We frightened to live. That the anthem over here.
You're making that the anthem of frightened to live? Yeah. Under Prime Minister Rowley, plenty of people in Trinidad frightened to live. They not joking, you know. They serious thing. They're frightened to live.
Anyway, the information we bring it to them is they're gonna live and let live because they're gonna make the right decisions.
Well, yeah, because we want them to make the right decision. We don't want them to be frightened to live. We want them to live, love, and be happy.
Yep. We're gonna see to that they make the right decisions so they can live and let live.
Yep. Caller, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon to the panel inside, the panel outside.
Same to you.
And special good afternoon to Tommy on this your born. Tommy, I want to say thanks. Believe you understood what I said because you're familiar with the scripture. And
can I ask you a question, Gordon?
let me finish with Tommy first now. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Could I finish with Tommy, please?
Where in the scripture? What verse in the
Right.
scripture is that one? What
I
verse?
will come to that, sir. Could I deal with Tommy as I was addressing Tommy? Is it okay?
But no, I just asked you a simple question. What verse is that in the
Well,
scripture?
what is simple? What is simple? I asked you a simple question and up to now you ain't answer. I asked if you support UNC. Up to now you ain't answer. You beat around the bush. What is that simple question?
What verse is that in the scripture?
What is that simple? Tommy read it. I think you read it just now.
I never read nothing about no behave.
Yeah, it there.
There was nothing in that scripture about behave. Nothing.
All right, listen. You will get your answer as you listen along. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So Tommy, the scripture is there, and it is for us to go into it, to understand it, and if we don't know, to find out from somebody who might know. All right. My understanding of the scripture is God promised a minimum of 310, which is 70 years. But plenty people die before they reach 70 for all kind of different reasons. And plenty people live after 70 years for all kind of different reasons. But in most cases, when I say about behave yourself, if you don't eat properly, if you don't rest properly, if you don't treat this little body that God has given to you, the only one that you have, if you don't treat it properly, it's as if don't expect to make that minimum that he promised you. And that's the point that I make. But I know on this platform, I know there's a fish that's rotten from the head. That's my favorite quote. You understand? So once you go down a certain road, you find the disciples and then boom, they're following that right through. So he take it as something negative. So the disciples and them thing too. But that is nothing strange for me. You understand me? And it hard. The kind of thing I passed through in life, I thank God that he helped me that I'm in this position now. All right, so Tommy, happy born day to you. And I also did ask the question if you are one of those who did get slapped. I know I did. And I usually tell people I'm trying to find the doctor who slapped me. Because I didn't do nothing and I get one slap. Pow! You understand? Tommy, do you know if you got slapped?
I'm not sure, but I know that I was delivered by a midwife.
Huh?
I said a midwife delivered me. I may have gotten slapped, maybe not.
Well, it's very likely that in that case you may not have been slapped. I think they probably will do the pinch.
Because I was the first one out of the slot that I came, and my mom, she guarded me with her life. So
that is good. Well, bro, congratulations. Like I've said, you've made 70. That is plenty. That's more than 69. All right? And the impression I get, you're looking like you're going beyond that. Nothing is wrong with that.
Thank you.
All right?
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Well, good. All the best.
Caller, welcome. Caller, welcome. Caller. COP.
Good day to you, Uncle Tony. Yeah, Uncle Tony on Wall Street. Yeah, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to all listeners. Good afternoon to Trinidad and Tobago. Them biased citizens we have in this country. Rude and disrespectful. Uncle Tony on Wall Street. What's happening in our country is leaders taking us for fools. Leaders who don't care about the future of this country and doing whatever they want with our money. And it's time for we to put a stop to that. Dr. Rowley, we explain it too. It's time for you to put a stop to that. It's time for we to vote you out. Wall Street and Uncle Tony, the opposition leader mentioned in Parliament on Friday that the government have a pedophile ring in their party. I expect the Prime Minister to instruct the police to investigate where this pedophile ring in his party is and look to stop that, because a pedophile is one who interfere with little children. You see like how Akil Chamber was raped and bogged and found floating in a pool. A pedophile is one that interfere with underage boys and girls. Dr. Rowley didn't find to launch an investigation and put an immediate stop on that. Dr. Rowley gone in Belmont Corner and say when he moved in the Prime Minister residence, it had a blockage, a water blockage. And when the WASA people them come and clear the blockage, what they find was female underwear. Dr. Rowley, how they can block up with female underwear? And you there now? What you doing there? What happening in the Prime Minister residence? What happening in our residence? In our house? Not yours. Like taxpayers' own. What happening over there? And if you're trying to say it that happened under Kamala time, Dr. Rowley, you're a big man. Whatever big female women do, it have nothing to do with a pedophile ring. Because under your government, you passed the Buggery law. So what big men and big women doing now? That is not what is we business. And we constitutional business is about a pedophile ring. Big men who interfere with little boys. And that we expect you as Prime Minister, the head of National Security Council, and a married man to investigate what the opposition leader speaking about a pedophile ring. Why it is you keeping a blind eye towards that, Dr. Rowley? Let me say good afternoon to Freedom Law Chamber and the director and the CEO, the managing director of Freedom Law Chamber, Mr. Anand Ramulgana. Good afternoon to you, sir, and good afternoon to your organization. In the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Wall Street, from 2023 to 2024, there are over 4,000 little boys was molested. I keep saying that. And our Prime Minister, our Social Development Ministry, our Child Protection Unit revealing the statistic, and our leaders is not doing nothing about it. They're not doing anything about it. Why, Dr. Rowley? Not doing anything about that. Why? Trinidad and Tobago, 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is 4. But we can check 4 and 4 is 8. Dr. Rowley, it's time for these things to stop. Do you know the pain and suffering these little children have to go through by being molested? Wall Street and Uncle Tony, we spend millions of dollars to protect the future of this country. And on that 10 years under Dr. Rowley administration, there are thousands of little children being molested in the country. And mothers and fathers keeping a blind eye towards it, especially the PNM supporters. Why these things must be taking place in the land of Calypso, Steelman, Chutney, and Limbo? You want to put the pan and money, but want to create a cashless society. How would the people see the pan and the money when there are no money in their hand? When there are no money. Your mama guy, Dr. Rowley, it is easier and it is better for you to call the general election and give the people the opportunity to vote you out, or if the majority like it, they'll keep you over there. Why you don't do that? Wall Street and Uncle Tony, it is time for me to speak. It is time for me to speak and ask the leaders and them to investigate the pedophile ring. We must investigate that and we must put a stop to that. Cruelty to the future of this country. That is cruelty to the young children of this country. And you keep a blind eye towards that. Mr. Meloni, you keep a blind eye towards that. and you speak about God and God and God. God don't want to help all you. God don't want to hear all you. Unless all you speak on behalf of the future of this country. Why is all you watching it dying? Dying! Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, folks, we have coming up on the top of the hour, we have political scientist Dr. Shane Mohammed to join us. But we have plenty videos we want to cover too. I know if we go cover it. KFC, we going for the break. Yo,
One shit before you go for the break.
Yeah.
In the Prime Minister residence, you see you find Panty, and feel like go find the rest of the baby down there. And shock the police to go and make a search and get the rest of the baby and go missing.
Yeah, man.
Appear on Wall Street.
Yeah, right.
So I shock the police, or you go and make a surgery and you go contain that baby down in the office down there. I'd watch that doctor.
Yes. But Tommy, let me go for the break. Why don't Stuart Young tell the police to investigate fraud by Patriotic Energies?
You know.
But let me go for the break. Let me go
yeah.
for the break.
Go ahead.
We'll be right back. Folks, we're gonna go for the break. We'll be right back. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you. Don't forget Shelly Live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook and X. Subscribe. WZYE TV on YouTube, and you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Also at 973-609-6509. That's 973-609-6509.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. And again, Shady Live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook, WZYE TV and YouTube. Subscribe. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Also at 973-609-6509, 973-609-6509. Text and voice notes are welcome.
Right. Take a listen to this.
Tyler Perry gives us the analogy of three types of people. The first type he talks about is leaf people, the second, branch people, and the third, root people. According to Mr. Perry, some people come into your life and they are like leaves on a tree. They are only there for a season. You can't depend on them or count on them because they are weak and only there to give you shade. Like leaves, they are there to take what they need, and as soon as it gets cold or a wind blows in your life, they are gone. You can't be angry at them, it's just who they are. The second type of people, branch people. There are some people who come into your life and they're like branches on a tree. They are stronger than leaves, but you have to be careful with them. They will stick around through most season, but if you go through a storm or two in your life, it's possible that you can lose them. Most times they break away when it's tough. Although they are stronger than leaves, you have to test them out before you run out there and put all your weight on them. In most cases, they can't handle too much weight. But again, you can't be mad with them. It's just who they are. The final type of people are root people. If you can find some people in your life who are like roots of a tree, then you have found something special. Like roots of a tree, they are hard to find because they are not trying to be seen. Their only job is to hold you up and help you live a strong and healthy life. If you thrive, they're happy for you. They're still low-key and don't let the world know that they are there. And if you go through an awful storm, they will hold you up.
Their job is to hold you up, come what may, to nourish you, feed you and water you. Just like a tree has many limbs and many leaves, there are few roots. Look at your own life. How many leaves, branches and roots do you have? And what are you in other people's lives? You may want to call them today or send them a message just to thank them for being roots in your life.
We are back with you. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Washington, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. So, Tommy, we was talking about the Minister of Energy talking about what Patriotic did is fraud.
Yes.
And I don't understand something, Tommy. And Tommy, I wanted to point out something. You know, it's the same Scotia who recommend the corrupted company in Nigeria to the government, right? So Stuart Young somehow he vet Patriot, right? And he was able to come up to say, well, not Stuart Young, the government. And we say the government because they got a recommendation from Patriot from Scotia, right? Yep. And they come up and say somehow, all of a sudden, Patriotic was involved in some fraud with documents. But they didn't have the common decency, or they was just lazy to go and vet Oando, who was involved in corruption in Nigeria. Make it make sense to me, Tommy.
You know, and additionally, the distractions are being put in place so that the focus would be lost. I don't know if you observe that.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. It's distraction after distraction after distraction. Right?
Yeah, because even all the old panty talk and all of that, these are all distractions. These are non-important issues.
But you know, just before we go on, the opposition leader is correct about the legacy of this RPNM this last 9 years. It's just pain and pain and pain, suffocation, suffering is all kind of S's under this government. Take a listen.
$30 billion, taxpayers' dollars. I say again, that is the legacy of this PNM government. PNM means poor national management. Every sector spirals uncontrollably downward into deepening failure, crisis, and collapse. The national security, health, education, energy sectors are in a mess. After more than $530 billion, taxpayers' dollars, I say again, that is the legacy of this PNM government. PNM means poor national management. Every sector spirals uncontrollably downward into deepening failure, crisis, and collapse. The national security, health, education, energy sectors are in a mess. After more...
Everything is in a mess. Everything is in a mess. Yeah, everything. Caller, welcome.
You know something, the message...
Hold on. Go ahead, Tommy.
The message is pertinent. The delivery, it lacks luster. If that was being delivered by Mia Motley, it would be a different story. I don't mean to be picky or posing or anything like that, but I think there needs to be a little bit more oomph when delivering messages of that nature.
I understand, Tommy. Are you saying that message that she just delivered there didn't have any oomph to it?
No, it did no oomph. It's just like you just read something, you know.
So you wanna? What would have satisfied you as far as that message is concerned? Because me personally, I like that message because it talks about what people in the country suffering under the PNM.
I like the message, except I'm not impressed with the delivery.
No, but what would have been impressive to you? Would it have been more boisterous, more vigorous? What I'm just asking.
So certain things you hear and it leaves an impression on you just hearing it. Yes, I hear it and I interpret it and I know what she's saying.
But I don't think, listen, I'm not here to defend anybody, but I don't think she's a very boisterous person. She's a person who delivers a message very succinct and not like how Prime Minister Rowley go deliver a message, or how Phil Gerald Hines go deliver a message. Everybody have
If Mia Motley was delivering that message, it would touch faster.
Hold up. All right,
But,
hold on.
but go ahead.
Well, let me take this call. Caller, welcome. Caller. Sorry about that.
Wall Street, pleasant good day to
Yeah, man.
you and Uncle Tommy and everybody on the line. Wall Street, you did listen to Heavy NTC program Friday gone?
I'm not. I do. What was it about? I don't remember.
I just want to give you a little taste at the end of the show. But before I go there, I basically could say now that the people who support the PNM government are underneath a curse from this PNM government. Take a listen to this.
Okay.
Yes, a heavy ears. All your present camera and all your pulling all your own. Hear this. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. PNM will always prevail in Jesus' almighty name. And she bring Jesus in that. Yeah, and she said the devil, you know. Get the illiteracy, the devil, you know. So she's saying that two of them is the devil, right? The devil, you know better than the devil, you don't know. So the devil, she knows is the PNM, right? Yeah. And that's better than the devil, you don't know. And then she say, thank God for the devil, she know. Thank God, you hearing that heavy? Oh my God. Thank God for the devil that you know. Wait, again, she said, listen to heavy. Thank God.
You understand my point, Wall Street?
Yeah.
The people who supporting the PNM underneath a curse, and the only how they will know that is when the curse break. Because I remember many years ago, it had two couples used to live on the street where I was living on. And my mother tell me that the wife had the husband underneath a curse for years. And when the curse break from the husband really kill the wife, you know. When the wife do die, the husband know the try and attempt the wife funeral, you know. Because of what the husband have been through for many years and I need that curse from her. So I tell people, it had a video showing some years ago where Rowley went Ghana and where they spend him 3 times and they put him sit down on a chair. That's why he just sit down on Trinidad and Tobago. But Tobago understand what it is he does be doing. So that is why Tobago break away from the curse. But Trinidad, for some reason, can't find themselves to break away from that curse. But this is a spiritual thing that's happening here with Trinidad. These people interfere with things, but they're not supposed to interfere. That is why again all these are bloodshed, left, right, and center. Doctor, I'm listening.
Thank you. You know, Tommy, are we going to bring in Dr. Shane Mohammed in a minute? As he said that, Tommy, you know you will get blows for you just today, right?
Yeah, well, I just speak my mind because I know I'm aware of public speaking and the way you bring a message and the effects of
hold on.
The right delivery. I'm fully aware. I mean, I could act like I don't know and just go along. But she
I
can
didn't understand.
She can use a little training.
No, but I didn't understand what you needed her to do in order for her to get her point across. Because I get the point that she's saying.
I get the point, except that I just don't think the delivery was powerful enough.
All right, okay. I hear you. Caller, welcome.
Hey, good evening again, Mr. Tommy. So, Mr. Hanslem, Mr. Tommy, I'm watching the thing behind you there now with the 54 billion. So let me just take three ministries, right? Education, national security, and Ministry of Works, right? 9 years. I'm going to break it down to a smaller figure, 6 billion a year again. So that is like 54 billion. And in 9 years, and after $54 billion, they can't solve the problem what's happening now in Trinidad and Tobago. you will give them 5 more years again. So we they need $100 million, $100 billion, sorry, to solve the problem. If they have 9 years and $54 billion in military work, education, and national security, and what's the situation of the country, you'll give them 5 years again. People wake up. Look on listen to sounds, Mr. Tony.
But listener, the thing behind me, folks, here's what it is. And I'm gonna put this up here. Here what it is there. If you add up the total revenue of 54.224 billion, and you say the total estimated revenue of 54.224 billion comprises the following, that doesn't add up to 54 billion. It adds up to 53 million. So there's $1 million missing. Now, all I'm saying, yes, that number could be some other place. But this is where it says the total estimated revenue, 54.224 billion comprises, and they have these three things, and I want you all to do the maths. Add up these three numbers here and see what number you come up with. And you are not going to come up with 54.224 billion. This is from the budget report. I took a copy of this from the budget report. So there's 1 billion missing from somewhere. It might be some other place. But this is how incompetent and lazy this government is. Lazy. They could have put an asterisk saying that the 1 point something billion is some other place. But they didn't do it. They tell you that this is what it comprised of. It's a lazy government. Let me bring in
Dr. Mohammed.
Huh?
You bring in Dr. Mohammed?
Yeah. Let me bring in Dr. Mohammed, Dr. Shane Mohammed. Dr. Mohammed, how are you? No stranger to Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Professor
Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Looking on and, doing some compares and some comparisons and some contrasts as to what the budget that was delivered and the response that was delivered. And I got into well, you know me, I make no apologies for the things that I say, and I make no apologies based on the fact that you all know that I give credit where it's due and I give critique where it's due. So after listening to the opposition leader on Friday, I decided to put out what I thought. Well, I decided to put out my perspective on her response, and I will share it with you all. I said my thoughts on the response to the budget by the leader of the opposition. One, I thought it to be comprehensively delivered and well explained for the average listener. Two, there are plans that are very family-oriented, geared towards addressing social problems. It was set in policies which, if implemented effectively, can actually have positive effects from a governance perspective. Four, I would have liked to hear a little more on revenue generation and diversification. Five, I hope the rest of the opposition can maintain the standard of delivery set by the leader of the opposition. And six, whilst we recognize that the population is frustrated by the current administration, I will reiterate that the incoming caliber of candidates from the UNC must be better than their main competitor, as well as strong enough to engender public confidence to vote for change and not exchange. Seven, it is clear by the policies set by the leader of the opposition, the quality of MPs and ministers must be intelligent and extraordinary to deliver on the promise of good governance. And finally, 2025 general election will require stepping out of comfort zones. And the PNM came after me. They came with a vengeance because I guess they feel comfortable that I am one of those that is simply going to, just continue to sit down and just say things that are anti-UNC and pro-PNM. And no, that's not my job. My job is that when there's credit, when it's where credit is due. It is something that must be given, and that I personally believe that the opposition leader she delivered something that was much more reflective of a budget than what was done by Cumberland for 5 hours.
And she only take 3 point something hours. She didn't take 5 point something.
And I'll tell you something. I appreciated the 3 point something hours because of the time that she took to deliver and to explain how, why, what. There was no question in my mind when listening to her. There was no questions that I asked how, or how will you achieve that, or what are you going to do, or what are the effects of those things. Because as you would know, Ansem, as academics, those are the questions we ask when we are examining people, right? How are you going to achieve that? What are you going to do? What would benefit? Who would that benefit? Why would it benefit them? You know, those sort of, I did not find myself asking those questions. And the fact of the matter is, give credit to the lady. I know from very good sources, because people have been asking, who wrote that budget response? It was written by Kamala Prasad-Visasa.
You know, I listen to a lot of what the opposition leader have to say. And I have to be honest with you, I was very impressed with the things that she had to say. I mean, if you go back, when she talked about the health and the 50 items, when she addressed health, it makes sense. And now she's addressing certain things that make sense. She ain't talking about panty in her line. She ain't talking about she ain't talking about finding underwears, right? And she ain't talking about, all right, if you say there's a pedophile in the PNM, why don't you bring it, go, tell me what it is.
No, but I'll tell you something. When I get the chance to respond to that, I want Dr. Rowley to understand something. That this is not something that Mrs. Prasad-Visasa pick up from the side of the road in Charlotte Street. There have been persons who were members and have been members of the People's National Movement who resigned from the People's National Movement because they said that they witnessed, I will not call the name of some persons, witnessed that this pedophilia ring and tendencies by certain elements of the PNM was very much present and active, right? So, you know, if Dr. Rowley wants to stand up and beat his chest and ask, bring the evidence and call names, no. It was said, it is now for people to do some introspection. You see, I'm going to use some crass words here, right? You see, they have a habit of talking about the UNC having homos and bullers and this and that and the other and the other and the other in the PNM. And everybody just ramage and laugh and like to talk about rum and roti. It is good, if it's good for one, it should be good for the other. And all she said is that there has been reports, there are persons who have said that within the framework of the PNM, that this thing has existed. Why are you getting why is the Prime Minister becoming so defensive about something that people has resigned from the UN, from the PNM over? Why? What is so, I mean, you know, I've come to realize that even yesterday when I posted that 8-point note about my observations of the opposition leader's presentation, they went on an offensive. They became defensive, and they became, you know, like, oh, Minister Young debunked everything. Minister Young is full of fluff. Minister Young is an arrogant, ignorant, detached, disconnected, unrelatable individual. He's a prima donna, and he's been how you put it? He's a proxy to keep Rowley. That's all he is.
Is he Gary Sobers? He's just Gary Sobers.
What has Stuart Young done in the last 10 years that has been so magnificent and magnanimous that could for any one of us could genuinely say, oh my God, Stuart did a fantastic job on this or that or the other. For the most part, he's been nothing but an arrogant individual. He's been, I mean, he's been arrogant. He's been dismissive. He's been insulting. He speaks as though he knows it all, and that's the problem with this government. The problem with this administration is that they lack the ability to take constructive criticism. They lack the ability to listen to opposing opinions, and quite frankly, those of us who has been kind to them are getting fed up and frustrated by the fact that they believe that they know it all, and they don't.
Hear this stuff. I laughing at this. Bad man say, oh God, bad man them funny though. Bad man say, she want firearms to light up criminals. I think what she'd have at the banker for Kamla. Seem like she can't do no wrong for him now. Oh God, listen to this, bad man. Let me say this, bad man. Facts is a stubborn thing. I don't agree with all the policies of the UNC. And let me say this right now. Let me go on record on this. I do not agree with stand your ground. I believe the Castle Doctrine is a better doctrine for Trinidad and Tobago as opposed to stand your ground. I do not agree with that. And I'm going to continue to stand by that. You understand? And I would like to see that the UNC understand and get a better understanding of the difference between stand your ground laws and the Castle Doctrine. And the Castle Doctrine is a much better doctrine for Trinidad and Tobago. And
well, your incoming president said it the other day. She said if somebody walks into her house, if somebody invades her house, and they asked her the question a couple of weeks ago, if somebody invaded her house, what would happen? And she said they'd get shot.
Simple, plain talk, bad manners. And that is the Castle Doctrine. That is the Castle Doctrine. So, Banme, I want you to go and Google the difference between stand your ground laws and the Castle Doctrine. And
I'll say this to you. I am also not 100% for your stand with regard to stand your ground, because I think stand your ground, the same way Mrs. Pasabi-Sessa talked about the different categories for rape and for murder and those sort of things under the criminal justice system, that she wants to, she wants the framework she wants to introduce. I think we've gotten to the point where stand your ground is something that I feel she is using it by not fully understanding the perspective of it.
Yeah.
But I will say this: where we are in Trinidad and Tobago, Anselm, is one where we require a level of this is going to sound bad, kind of vigilante, our personal vigilante approach to if somebody approaches you, and we should be able to arm our citizens. And she said it very clearly. She talked about how she was going to arm citizens. She went through that there was going to be a process, there was going to be vetting, there was going to be all of those things before someone actually was given an FUL, right? As compared to now, where this lazy, I will use it, stop at lazy, commissioner of police is just simply doing absolutely nothing to protect the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago.
I have to be honest, right? I believe when Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessa had talked about, what is that, light up the matic? Is that what it is?
Yeah, light up the matic.
I believe in that. Light up the matic. If you come in my house,
I'll say this. It is not the language. It is not the language that I would like to hear from an incoming prime minister.
I hear you.
Or a potential incoming prime minister.
What vigilantism that we need.
But it is a reflection of the frustration that Trinidadians feel. I saw a video the other day. I was reviewing a video where a bandit was running down someone, and a car was oncoming, and the guy never stopped. He run over the guy with the gun. the driver of the vehicle intercepted by accident or by whatever, and he ran over the fella with the gun. And he bonks him down. And I'm like, good for you. Because this country is at a stage where crime is the greatest oppressor of our progress, our prosperity, our growth, and our development. And until we get that right, like I asked the question the other day, I said, I don't care about people's personal perspectives, but there's a reason why corporal punishment and the death penalty remains on the law books of Trinidad and Tobago, and it is about time it is implemented.
Yeah, listen to this.
When I said light them up and empty the clip, of course, if a man is there over your wife, raping your wife, what are you going to do? Empty the clip. And I want you to think about if you have a child, someone is there raping your daughter. What do? Stand up and watch and say, no, the law says I must use reasonable force. I'll push him over with my hand. No, I stand by empty the clip. And I stand by also giving law-abiding citizens the right to bear arms.
I agree to 100%.
That's fair. That's fair. 100%. And you see, okay. So you see what you talk about there? What you talked about there in the context of what we are just saying is not stand your ground laws. It is actually the castle doctrine.
Castle doctrine,
right?
correct.
It is actually castle doctrine because a man will not be raping his daughter. She was specific. If you walk in and you see a man raping your wife or raping your daughter in your house, what to do? Empty the clip. I agree with that, right? I agree with that.
Yeah. Tommy, you want to say anything?
No, I agree that the citizenry has to be armed in order to defend themselves.
Yes, and fairly so. And fairly so.
Yeah, because here in the United States, there's positive results from people being armed.
Yeah, agreed.
Correct. And
I think though, I could say to you all, but it seems as though that the gods are on your side in the United States of America, because you may have Madam President coming into office as opposed to Mr. President.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and the thing about it, hold on, let's take this one. Mobile Defender, welcome. We have with us Dr. Shane Mohammed, political analyst. You there?
Blessed evening. Huh?
Go ahead.
Blessed evening, Uncle Tommy again. Happy birthday again, Wall Street. And Dr. Shane Wait Mohammed. But Dr. Mohammed, I said that day, tell me wait, right? I've been following you every step of the way after that. And trust me, I really appreciate you standing up on the defense of us. But one thing I wanted to start to bring up, and I talked to Uncle Tommy and him about it today, is the mere fact that the police are now we have to afraid of now. With these allegations of the police car using the kidnapping recently, and so many other different situations, Dr. Shane. And I know you are the man to bring forward these things on these platforms where I'll be rooting you on. And trust me, I think if a lot of people stand up like you, and as you say, right is right and wrong is wrong, we'll be in a better society. And Dr. Shane, I want to commend you on the stance you've been taking, because I've been watching this every step of the way. And I really feel proud to know that people like you still exist in Trinidad and Tobago. But I wanted to start to bring up this police allegations and make it known, because the question I asked you now, Shane, Dr. Shane, sorry.
That's fine, you can call me Shane. It's not,
what do you stop?
The title is irrelevant.
No, I understand, but respect is due. So what we supposed to do now as a citizen when we see the police? Stop or drive off?
You see, the thing about it is, I teach a lot of police officers, right? A lot of police officers I teach police officers, and the police officers.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man.
The police officers are demotivated. They are demoralized in some instance. There's a lot of ranking and pulling rank over middle managers and juniors jumping over middle management and going to seniors, and there's that alignment of seniors with juniors. And the problem with the police service is that there's a lack of monitoring and evaluation. There's a lack of accountability and transparency. There's a lot, and that is because there's a belief that only police officers who are in the rank and file of the police administration have the ability to address the issues that are affecting police officers, and that is wrong. I don't do. It's not himself unto himself, and to be able to create a police service that is motivated, a high performance workspace, has elements of reward and recognition, has transparency and accountability, has ethics and ethical values and ethical principles. There needs to be an overarching body that manages the HR and administrative aspects as it pertains to the work life of police officers. And when we get to that, we need to get to that point, because too much power is invested in the office of the commissioner of police, and it is evident that a lot of it slips through the cracks. So, there's a lot to be done, and a lot of work that needs to be dealt with in that regard. I will also say that there are also a lot of good police officers with good intentions who enter into the service for the purposes of protecting and serving. A lot of them who I have taught, and they deserve to have an environment that is healthy for not their well-being and their mental being, but also for the purposes of their responsibilities and duties in the execution of their jobs.
It's interesting, when you look at the rhetorics coming out from the PNM, and I listen to Stuart Young.
And I'll tell you this comment about the economy is what is creating criminals. No, it is the blasted government that doesn't have any checks and balances and is sharing out contracts and not doing background checks on who the hell they're giving contracts to, that is creating that economy. So you see this light them up dotishness that you want to talk about? The country is fed up, and I don't know which castle you are living in, or which mansion that you are living in, that you are disconnected from the realities of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So because, nonsense.
Yeah, because it's people like Ban Mehan them. Where's that what was that thing? Terrestrial? It's terrestrial? It's called, Tommy?
Chestrial.
My bad, terrestrial. With the guy didn't have to put up our Tommy a performance bond.
True.
Right. So the government giving a contract and the fella do have to put up a performance bond meha.
And now he tell me go easy doctor, because you know why? Don't tell me nonsense. Don't tell me nonsense. Don't tell me about, it is the economy that is creating the criminals. The economy is dictated, as always tell the media, and I will say it here. When you read a budget is not only about economics. There's something called political sociology. It's also about political science. It's a combination of economics and politics, right? And people must understand that there's a lot of politics involved. It is the same when Mrs. Prasad Disasa could tell the country that, hey, the deficit is not $5.5 billion. It is more than that, because you know what? In the draft estimates, $1 million and something missing, a million and 1 point something billion is missing.
Listen.
Why is Banya, whatever his name is, doesn't talk about the lack of accountability by his government and the arrogance of Keith Rowley and Colin Burt and others? Look.
But you know what? I want to let's take this call. Caller, welcome. You're here with Uncle Tommy, Professor Washington, and Dr. Shane Mohammed.
Hey, good evening. I give Mr. Answer, Mr. Tommy. Good evening, Dr. Shane Mohammed. Hey, Mr. Shane, I listened to you on CNC3. Boy, you had them hot. They didn't know what to say. I look at you, you had them hot. But Mr. Shane, for the past 9 years, the reason why this country is the way it is because mediocrity getting paid. You don't have to do good in this PNM government to promote you, So it disenfranchises a lot of people who working hard and trying to make something. When you just don't do nothing and you get promoted. Look at Ula, 12th on the list. Can pick all these people and them in these certain establishments. How much gain big position have holding 3-4 position in different companies. So it seems this PNM government rewards mediocrity. So it had the population disenfranchised. So I believe that is a problem. What do you think about that? Local listening.
Thank you.
You know what is amazing? You know what is amazing to me? You know, when people love and a lot of people enjoy when I cuss the UNC and I cuss Kamla because I hold them accountable and I challenge them to be better. And you know when Kamla is better and I give her credit for being better,
Well,
you know
hold
they
on.
vex.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead,
That I am suddenly biased because I'm giving credit where it's due. After 10 years of the PNM in power, what do you want me to give them credit to? The fact that they want to sell out assets? I don't trust the PNM with the words lease or sell because they use it interchangeably. And they and that for me, you see, when a government believes, and I said this before, I will say it here. You see, when a government believes that it is their right, God-given right and entitlement to sell the assets of the state.
Yep.
I want them to understand that the assets of the state is not the assets of the government. The state is the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So you can't just want to come and sell a refinery or sell Magdalena. It means why does they don't sell the diplomatic center? Let me sell the international waterfront complex. Let me sell Napa. Let me sell Colmember properties. Let me sell One Alexandra Place. Let me sell those assets now.
Yep, let me sell them. Let's take this call. Caller, welcome. Caller.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Mohammed, how are you doing?
I'm good, boy. I'm good.
Nice. Okay. So I've been listening to you, and I think you will agree with me. There are some voters out there who are considered to be the undecided. They could go left, they could go right. They ain't too yellow and they ain't too red. They could end up swinging either way. Are wrong or right?
You're right.
Good. 9 years and something, there's been a group that is very likely, if the PNM had to lose the election, this group could end up forming the government called the UNC. Over the 9 years that has passed that they've lost and they are in opposition, and all kind of thing has happened under the PNM over the last 9 years. Negative, positive, in between, all right. Can you say, based on your opinion, that the UNC, they have done enough to be next in line to be voted in with the help of those swing voters or those undecided? Can you say that as far as you are aware, that the UNC, putting aside all the infighting and wherever, that they have done enough to convince those swing voters, that they should vote for them to form the next government? That's my question. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, man.
That's a good question. I'll say this, right? Over the last 9 years, I have been critical, more so between 2020 and 2024, by the weakness of the opposition, because I was never satisfied by the caliber of the candidates that was chosen, nor those that are sitting down in the parliament that make up the 19. In fact, I believe that there was just a handful of persons that were carrying the mandate of the opposition. One of the things that I thought was important, was critical, given what you just said about the 9 years and the 10 years of the PNM government. One of the things that I thought was the most critical thing that would tell us where we are going, and that's why I tell people, I use the word wait, and people got upset about wait. It was because there are certain things that I'm looking for. One, I was very interested to hear what Mrs. Prasad Bissessa was going to say, how she was going to craft her language, how the contents of what that delivery was going to sound like, and whether it was one that was realistic, innovative, progressive, had developmental aspects and perspectives in it. And I found that it was a winning delivery in terms of her response to the budget, given that the budget was five hours of absolute nothingness. And when a government has lost its ability to be innovative, lost its ability to be creative, lost its ability to find new ways to create revenue, it means that they've gotten extremely comfortable in office and they believe themselves to be unthreatened. And what Mrs. Prasad Bissessa did on Friday was shake up the place, wake up people to realize that that response that was written and delivered by Mrs. Prasad Bissessa tells us that hope is not lost. And therefore, I will say that in addition to the speech, because as I said in my 8-point response commentary on the budget, one, the rest of persons who have to debate this budget from the opposition must be able to match and be at the same level as Mrs. Prasad Bissessa's delivery. That's one. Two, going into the 2025 general election, there needs to be a cleaning of the house. Mrs. Prasad Bissessa has to come out of her comfort zone. She's going to have to reinvent herself like she did in 2010, and she's going to have to choose candidates that are going to excite the population. Candidates that are young, vibrant, energetic, those that have experience, may have to go back to some old school names. The fact of the matter is, she now has a greater onus on her to capture the minds of the swing voters based on the standard that was set on Friday.
Good afternoon to you, Wall Street. Good afternoon to you, Uncle Tony. And good afternoon to you, Dr. Shane Mohammed. Let me give you 10 out of 10 for answering Mr. Maloney the way you answer. That 10 out of 10 is, you see, we is the future really, and the future must be thinking in that direction and not the negative way. Be fair. Equilibrium must be fair amongst the future. I'll give you 10 out of 10 for that. But what you should not mention on this is what I teach the police. I say, wow. Let me just be sarcastic. When you said I teach the police, and I say, wow, they are so disrespectful to the general public. What? Let me leave that sarcastic alone. I will not mention that part about it. But when you look at what happened in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, even though Dr. Rowley administration have the right, that the privilege and the constitutional responsibility to whatever they're doing by want to sell we assets and things, it's in the law they can do that. We are the ones that sitting down and giving them that authority and that power. But although Dr. Rowley know he could do those things, why should he, as a human being, knowing that, hey, this is not my mother and father asset, my mother give me this, my generation will leave this for me, this is the people asset. You are consulting with the future of this country, you are telling them what to do, you signing non-disclosure deal with our assets and making, we don't know what deal are they making to sell we assets that what we will need in the future. Let me say, today, tomorrow, we find big oil within the Caribbean, and we are custom finding in Trinidad. And we sell we refinery. And we can supply gas for we sell over here. And with the oil that we getting over here now, we could drop the wages of how the people that was working for thousands, let them work for like $25 an hour now, and run that refinery. We could be producing our own gas for we sell over here. We will have our own bitumen. We could be making our own bitumen. Dr. Rowley named 100 and something product. What come out of that refinery? But he find it fit. What's it? Yeah, you was about something there?
Go ahead.
Dr. Mohammed can interject anytime. Having that conversation with him will be nice.
No, listen, I'm saying to you, you're right. And it is not his, he's the guardian, and he is the trustee of our assets. He's not the owner of our assets. And when you have assets of that kind, so for example, I always make I use the example that Trinidad and Tobago was always an agrarian industry and an agrarian economy. Or we became an agrarian economy through indentureship, through slavery, whatever the history was, right? And we were robust in our agrarian industry, and we were doing well as an agrarian economy. But through Europe and other countries, they started to give us competition for sugar with corn syrup and beetroot and all of these different things, and these different, what I would call supplementaries to sugar. And it did not last for 5 years. And within that, when we started to receive competition, Mr. Manning was like, oh my God, the sky is falling on the sugar industry, and therefore the only thing to do, rather than restructure the sugar industry with proper industrial relations practices, proper HR perspectives, proper processes and procedures to increase production and productivity and revenue generation, he shut it down, right? Can you imagine what a greater economy we would have had we had an agrarian industry, which is the sugar and the rice, like Mrs. Prasad Bisasa is talking about, together with a restructured oil industry, a restructured petrotrain, to weed out the corruption, weed out the duplication of jobs, the overtime and all of this, regulate workers according to good HR practices. Can you imagine the magic that our economy would have been had it been both agrarian and industry, like Sir Arthur Lewis had envisioned for Trinidad and Tobago? But you see, men like Stuart Young, men like Keith Rowley and others, and Coleman Booth does not understand what Dr. Arthur Lewis meant by industrialization by invitation. They didn't understand the perspective that we are in control. We are in control of our economy. We are the ones that drive, that decide the way forward. We are the ones that decide whether we are going to prosper or we are going to go down the route of poverty. And quite frankly, this Rowley administration has done absolutely nothing to engender public trust and confidence, nor international trust and confidence as it pertains to foreign direct investment, injection of foreign exchange.
Dr. Shane Mohammed, I will say something about this and I'll have to go, right? But allow me to say this, Wall Street. Dr. Shane Mohammed, what the People's National Movement did from 1956 for coming up all to the 60s, 70s, 80s, they bring a lot of Caribbean brothers and sisters into Trinidad to become PNM until they're dead. And you see that 50, 60 years that pass, it accumulates to over 300,000 generation from all over the Caribbean and the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to die PNM and to keep the PNM base anywhere they go. Memorize up for PNM, memorize up PNM. That is the cycle that we have to break in this country. And
it will break.
Next thing.
It will break. It will break. As I say.
You have to leave it there. Dr. Shane Mohammed, take care of that.
Thank you. The starting point of this competition, because an election is a competition, the starting point of this competition was budget 2025. And I think where we are right now, Mrs. Prasad Bisasa has a one-up. Ansem, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Dr. Mohammed, I've said this, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a choice. It's PNM, UNC. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. And I tell people, PNM, as far as I'm concerned, is out of the picture. You could read however you want to read into that, right? I'm telling you, it's two sides. There's PNM, there's UNC. As far as I am concerned, PNM is null and void for the things that they have done to people in Trinidad and Tobago. And I don't live in Trinidad and Tobago. And to make it even worse, the people that look like me, suffering more than ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago under the People's National.
I can go a step further. I am highly qualified. I am more than qualified to be. I have been. It seems as though I have been blacklisted so much by this administration that within recent times, I specifically applied for a position within a state run academic institution, and suddenly they stop hiring. They stop the hiring process. They freeze the position. There's a level of polarization that is existing in this country, and the polarization is something that I cannot fathom because we live in a country, and I am going to tell you this: if I am in an administration, if I am a prime minister, if I am leading a government, if I'm part of a government, right? I don't want to know whether you're a PNM or a UNC, an Indian, an African, a Chinese. What I want to know is that you are capable of doing the job. And if you're capable of doing the job, there are channels by which you can earn the right to do that job with proper hiring practices. But under the People's National Movement, when you see a position that is advertised in any state entity, anybody will tell you, don't apply for the job. They have only advertised for the purposes of hiring, but they have already have somebody to fill the job. And that is why Mrs. Fasabi-Sasa talked about contract position and having a new way and a different way by which we hire people on contract, because too many people have been hired because of friends, family, association, and political association. And that has happened for 9 years under the People's National Movement. And let me tell you something, the training ground, and I make no apologies for this, the training ground by which those persons have been hired is something called the Heliconia Foundation. Not the University of the West Indies, not the UTT, not COSTAT, not any of those institutions. Once you come through the Heliconia Foundation, inside. That is absolute and complete polarization of the society.
I want you all to listen to Jeff Bezos, the gazillionaire. Listen to what Jeff Bezos had to say.
We humans are not really truth-seeking animals. We are social animals.
Yeah, we are.
And, take you back in time 10,000 years and you're in a small village. If you go along to get along, you can survive. You can procreate. If you're the village truth teller, you might get clubbed to death in the middle of the night. Truths are often, they don't want to be heard because important truths can be uncomfortable, they can be awkward, they can be exhausting,
impolite,
yes,
all that kind of stuff.
Challenging. They can make people defensive, even if that's not the intent. But any high-performing organization, whether it's a sports team, a business, a political organization, an activist group, I don't care what it is, any high-performing organization has to have mechanisms and a culture that supports truth-telling.
That is not Wall Street or Uncle Tommy saying that. That is the gazillionaire Jeff Bezos. And I can tell you, I can't speak for the UNC, right? I can tell you in the PNM, under this Prime Minister Rowley, there's no mechanism for truth telling. And if you tell the truth, you talk about polarization, but I will say victimization.
Well, I could tell you, since you talk about victimization,
yeah,
I could tell you the other day we were having a conversation about property tax, and you were coming down very hard on a particular individual, and my sources were right. That individual is now under serious victimization because he has a target on his back. And I want to know from the People's National Movement, why is it certain ministers seem to be using Mr. Manning conveniently to attract voters, but their intention is to stab him in his back come 2025.
Well, I mean, I could have told him about victimization long time ago.
Let me tell you something. There is a lot, and that is, I don't want to call too many names because that is the kind of vindictiveness that takes place in the PNM. But there are there's a group of persons within the PNM that has the interest of the country at heart. And then there's a group of persons that are in a cabal, within the circle of the Prime Minister that is hell-bent on taking over the PNM and running this country like a dictatorship.
All right, so hold that thought there. When we come back, we go I don't know if you're talking about the old person, but when we come back, we we'll address that when we come back. Folks, stick and stay. It's Sunday Talk with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walshin, and Dr. Shane Mohammed on WZYE 95.9 FM. Don't forget, share the live, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook. Subscribe. WZYE TV on YouTube. And you can reach us here at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444.
Also at 973-609-6509. 973-609-6509.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walshin, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Folks, I wanted to play, Dr. Mohammed, I wanted to play something here because it was interesting that I listened to this and I thought that the Prime Minister actually threw himself under the bus. He actually did. So let me say this, before we play that. The Prime Minister was speaking about borrowings over the last 14 years, right? And in my estimation, what he was trying to do is to throw the UNC under the bus and tell you about how large the UNC borrowings was and so on and so forth. But the Prime Minister have to understand that there's also intelligent people listening to him and will take his rare tricks, and basically come with the facts. So I want you all to listen to this, though. Listen to this for a minute. Just listen to this. And we're going to pause it and we're going to... I want to discuss that with you, Dr. Mohammed.
Every budget for the last 10 years, I'm just taking the last 10 years, 2010 to 2024, that's 14 years. 14 years. Every time there's a budget, in that budget, it involves the government borrowing money to add to the revenues to sustain the level of expenditure. I want you as a population to listen very carefully. Because when people come telling you, you should do this, you should do that, you can give this, it is not in a vacuum. It's against the background of your ability to pay for it, or to carry debt for it, or to keep yourself away from falling into a situation where you get into default on monies you borrow. 2010, I don't have that figure, but 2011, the government, in addition, and this is in addition to the earned revenue, this is the borrowing, 3 billion. 2012, 15.7 billion. Who was in government then? 2012, 15.7 billion.
Now I want to pause it right there, Dr. Shane Mohammed. And look, I have to say this. I work at the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years, right? Work in the highest departments of the New York Stock Exchange. And the Prime Minister Rowley, the PNM need to stop being so lazy, and putting information out in the public domain that is so easy to deal with. They need for people to have to work a little harder, right? A little harder. Now hear what he said, right? 2012, $15.7 billion, the UNC board, right? And he was very specific about that. But let's continue. Let's continue to the next one, right? Let's continue.
$1 billion. That was what we borrow to add to the revenues. 2013, 1.2 billion.
Right. So in 2013 now, it's 1.2 billion. And here is what the Prime Minister failed to tell the population. As he go through these numbers, Dr. Shane and Uncle Tommy, the 1.2 million is the lowest amount of borrowings in the last 14 years under any government. 1.2, the lowest, lowest. But let me listen. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but let's listen again. Listen to this again.
2014, 5 billion. 2015, 6.2 billion. 2016, 11 billion. Because when we came in 2015, September, by the following January morning, with the collapse of the oil price, if we were to maintain the expenditure on the public servicing of the country, we had to borrow.
So he have an excuse now why it went from 6.2 billion in 2015, right, to almost 100% more, to 11.11 billion, right? You gotta explain that. All right. Okay, Prime Minister Rowley. Good. There we go.
You hear them talking about the wonderful economy they left and how things were nice in their day? We came in September 2015. On the 9th of September, I was sworn in. By the time you turn around with a few weeks, I just told you a while ago, we almost couldn't pay public servants. So in 2016, right, we had to borrow $11 billion, right, of which 6.5 of that was the back pay that they incurred on the way out. The following year, 6.1 billion, 2017. 2018, we now have been in government for 3 years. We reduced the borrowing to 1.9 billion. You get my drift? The following year, 2019, that was when there was a collapse in oil price, and on one day, it went down to some ridiculous figure. Oil price collapsing and gas price collapsing with it. But we wanted to keep the country on that even keel on what we thought was temporary, because these things go up and down. They oscillate up and down. We had to borrow 6.6 billion. So up to that point, that is middling. 2020, COVID, country shut down. We have to keep you, pay you in job that you're not working for the government, give you money, send food to houses to keep starvation from the door, because the country's economy had been shut down because of COVID. We borrowed $16.5 billion.
All right. So we're gonna stop it there, right? And Dr. Shane, here what the sad thing is there. So I did a review. 4 out of the largest amount of borrowings, 4 out of the top 5 largest amount of borrowings. Who you think did that? Prime Minister Rowley. Prime Minister Rowley government did 4 of the 5 largest amount of borrowings. And he's making excuses why he had to borrow, his government had to borrow 16.5 billion, which was the hardest, right? And
but Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar said very clearly on Friday, and the facts don't lie, right? She said when they demitted office, right, that there was, she had left, where is it? She had left $11.7 billion in the HSF.
well,
right?
Dr. Mohammed, Mr. You don't want to start man that one, Don't start man that one, But go ahead.
And she had left. No, you see, people want to talk, they want to talk about all of these things. She said they had left $11.5 billion in foreign reserves, right? And if I'm not mistaken, 10 or $11 billion in the HSF, right? And GDP was at was at 18 billion US dollars. Foreign direct investment was 16.3 billion US dollars, right? And I am saying to myself, where has, how in God's name that with all, is it that they saw all the money that was left by the other government that it was just okay, good. We could do what we want. But let me before I get it, this is an important question S West is asking. Let's go back to S West's question.
Okay, hold on. Let me go.
What I want to say to voters on the ground is, one, you have to be vigilant. Two, you have to be informed. You can't afford to be caught up in bacchanal and rhetoric because there's going to be a lot of lies. Three, you have to, those of you who are voting UNC specifically, you have to advocate for your candidates to be brilliant, bright, a removal of what exists so that you can raise the caliber to a level that can effectively compete with the PNM and even be better than the PNM, because it's a race and a competition against the PNM, as I have said. And on top of that, I think that it is important for people to start working the ground and start getting things, people mobilized and ready to vote and vote vehemently. That's one. As it pertains to the elections, there's a lot of things that are happening. There are a lot of delivery projects. One major project is they have to settle out, they would like to see finish out all of their gas deals and their oil deals and hope that that be part of their campaign messaging. The airport in Tobago is Rowley's legacy project. And he seems to believe that that would be something that is going to sway Tobagonians. And there's 3 million people that are going to be traversing through the airport. I believe it might consist of the amount of dead people that has been buried in Tobago over the years. Their souls might be the 3 million that might be, traversing the airport, because I can't understand if on average about 1 million people go through Piaco International Airport annually. How in God's name are we going to get 3 million to go through ANR International when there are 2.5 international flights weekly at Piaco International, and that they've not divested the ability to go after airlines in a way that they should allow them to go after airlines to come to destination Tobago in an aggressive manner. They've got no support from central government in that regard. Central government is only focused on Trinidad. So that is what I would say with regard to the ground. The election may very well be within the second half of 2025, but between now and then, you can't afford to be lackadaisical. You can't afford to be relaxed. I call this a watershed moment and a crossroads in our political history. And it is the difference between poverty and prosperity, the difference between democracy and dictatorship, plain and simple. You choose which side of the line you want to stand
on. Dr. Mohammed, I want to address Gordon Joseph. Gordon Joseph says, you are not truthful if you don't say the year as well as, but that's normal for you. Didn't I just call the years for the borrowings under?
Listen, you have to excuse some of these persons because they have selective hearing, and sometimes we speak so quickly and we are in a discussion that they miss certain things. So we can move on. We can, yeah.
All right, let me move on. So let me go to the HSF fund, right? And listen to this. Before 2016, there was not a single withdrawal by any government from the HSF. The only government,
Correct, very correct.
The only government to have withdrawn from the HSF is the Rowley-led government, and they did that on 10 occasions. But there is more. But there is more. Over 2.6 billion
2.7 billion US dollars has been withdrawn over a period of 10 times.
In contrast to 2010 to 2015, there was 1.17 billion deposit into the HSF fund. And people just want to talk. There was 1 year, June 2020, they withdraw 600 million. No, that's just a month. 600 million in June 2020. So when people want to talk, I mean, you know, Dr. Shane and Tommy, I used to ignore these facts because I was a supporter of the PNM. I'm being honest, plain talk, bad manners. Yeah, I ignored a lot of facts. I ignored, for example, I am the one talk about this. This is not Dr. Shane, or this is not Tommy. When I look, compare and contrast, Kokrava Calypso, compare and contrast. When I compare and contrast certain statistical numbers under 2010 to 2015 and compare 5 years to 10 years, I say, boy, is only suffocation under this current Rowley-led PNM government, and the facts are there. Look, we have a young lady by the name of Patty. She wants to say, Mr. Shane, tell the requirements before you withdraw, please.
What requirements?
I don't know. Must it withdraw from the HSF? I don't know. I don't know.
Did you require? So okay, hold on. We have to understand why the HSF was created in the first place, right? So let me just pull some research. Let me explain the HSF here.
Right. In the meanwhile, you just go ahead. Let me finish explaining to Gordon Joseph.
Yes.
About all the withdrawals, right? That the PNM made. Not the withdrawals. The borrowings that the PNM made. Now listen to this. PNM had the highest amount of borrowings in 2020, $16.5 billion. Then in 2012, 15.7 billion under the UNC, right? The third set of highest borrowings was 2016, 11 billion under the PNM, right? The fourth was in 2020 under the PNM again, 16.5 billion. No, excuse me. The fourth was 8.2 billion in 2021. And the fifth was 7.5 billion. These are the borrowings under the PNM. The top 4 out of the 5 top highest borrowings was under the People's National Movement under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. 4 out of the 5. Tommy, here the next one. Here the next one. When was COVID, sir? When was COVID?
Who gives a shit when COVID was, though?
I mean, yeah. I mean, oh God. Hear the excuses. Oh God, hear the excuses. COVID.
Okay, let me go through this, right? So the Heritage and Stabilization Fund was created. It was first created by Mr. Pandey in 2000, and it was previously known as the Interim Revenue Stabilization Fund, which was set up in 2000. It became the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, and listen to this, it is a sovereign wealth fund established in March 2007 by the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago government. The primary objectives of the fund are to save and invest surplus petroleum production revenues to support and sustain public expenditures during revenue downturns and to provide a heritage for future generations of the state. The Heritage and Stabilization Act was created in 2007. And as of 2022 had a net value of 4.7 billion TT dollars, right? It was created by Act number 6 of 2007. It is denominated in US dollars. The fund provides a cushion to the economy of the islands in times when things are bad.
Yep. Yep.
Rules of the fund. Rules. According to its governing legislation, the fund is intended to 1. Cushion the impact on or sustain public expenditure capacity during periods of revenue downturn, whether caused by a fall in oil and gas prices, generate an alternate stream of income to support public expenditure capacity as a result of revenue downturn caused by the depletion of non-renewable sources of energy. Provide a heritage for future generations of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago from saving and investment incomes derived from the excess petroleum revenues. Under the legislation, the established fund withdrawals are limited to 60% of the amount of the shortfall of petroleum revenues for the relevant year, or 25% of the balance of the fund at the beginning of that year, whichever is the lesser amount. So for people, let me tell you something. The stereo, you see when we are in collapse?
Yeah.
You see when we are in absolute collapse as we were in 1990, that 1989, 1990 period, that is why Pandey and Manning visioned a heritage and stabilization fund with revenue that has 2 parts, a stabilization and a heritage. That is why it is there where if for whatever reason, oil prices go from $87 a barrel to $5 a barrel, we have money to help us through. This is not to be taken willy-nilly. This is not to be taken and to be used if prices drop by $30. This is to be able to secure the future by the word heritage of the next generation of Trinbagonians. It is our safety net. Instead of withdrawing for projects, you put money in it to save for a rainy day.
Yep. And Dr. Mohammed and Tommy, it is interesting. Let's take this call. Mr. Florida, welcome.
Hey, good evening again, Mr. Ansem and Mr. Tommy. Good evening, Mr. Shane. Hey, Mr. Ansem, Mr. Tommy, and Mr. Shane. In 2022 was the war, and they got a big windfall of money.
True.
And they still had to borrow $2.6 billion, and the next year they had to borrow $9 billion.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are them. But Mr. Shane, I just asking you one question. I hear you talk about the cashless society, and I hear you talk about the Hyatt. But before you leave, I just want you to give your views on it and explain to the people the downfall of cashless society for the poor man. Look, understand this.
No.
That's an excellent question.
Let's take this call before you talk. Okay. Caller, welcome. Caller.
Mr. Florida, I want to give you a thumbs up because that's why I was now calling for to tell Mr. Shane. Because I've seen in the chat them mentioning between 2010 and 2015 oil prices were high. But also ammonia went from, if I'm not mistaken, $150 a metric ton to $1,800 or $1,400 a metric ton.
Yeah.
So also under the PNM, it had some windfalls.
Yeah.
So all they stop coming in the chat and all they stop texting and feel like it get you now. We have intelligent people here, you know. This is a Balize house, you know. All they might mistake the red house behind Mr. Shane for Balize. That is not the Balize house. That is the red house. This is not Balize house where the Prime Minister can come and talk all kind of slack and we clapping. We don't do these things here. So stop coming about 2015 and between 2010 and 2015 had windfall. The PNM had windfalls also when the war with Ukraine and Russia started. Thank you, Dr. Shane. Excuse the little frustration.
No, I understand. It's about time. Do you remember when I told you how to wait? It was because I wanted y'all to wait to be frustrated, because there was going to come a time when you're going to have to make decisions. You didn't have a chance to go either. Well, I go stand in the middle of the road and stand in the white line, and I'm going to make my decision on the last minute. The decision needs to be made early. People need to pick a side. We either want to go left or we want to go right. We either want to go to poverty and prosperity, poverty and dictatorship, or prosperity and democracy. Choose.
Correct.
I am never going to sit down here and say that Mrs. Prasad, if earlier, you see what I don't understand about people is that people expect politicians to be perfect. People expect the majority of people that come to serve their country to be perfect. So they mustn't drink, they mustn't smoke, they mustn't horn, they mustn't do this. They don't have no vice. They want angels. But I want to ask only a question. How come during COVID, since they want to talk about COVID, how come the Prime Minister got COVID 6 times and Mrs. Rowley got none?
That's a good question.
Answer that question. What was Dr. Rowley doing that he required? He got COVID 6 times. He's probably the one man on record in the history of this country or in the world to get COVID a record 6 times, right? Who was doing what where when the whole country was on lockdown? Well, let me talk about this cashless thing.
But wait! Before you do that, let me go to some voice notes. Hold a minute. Just 1 minute.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washington and Uncle Tommy. I would like to tell Uncle Tommy happy birthday, and I would like to bust out a tune for Uncle Tommy. So, Uncle Tommy, hear the song. If your wife leave you and you're crying till it flood, you have to get 2 dead man teeth and a little bit of his blood. Mix the teeth inside the blood and throw it in she yard. The next day she go come back and playing that she mad. Oh, be around the clock. The man have plenty work. By his door you have to knock with a black fowl cock. A bottle of white rum and 2 black candles to succeed. Some lavender and 10 jumbie beads.
All right, let's go to the next one, dude. All right.
I feel we need to do that for this PNM government.
I think you're right.
Let me go to the next voice note. Hold on. Let me see what this voice note is. Okay, let's see this. What's this?
Tommy, you see why you are appreciated by so many? Your independence is impeccable. Impeccable. You don't go along, come along. Well done, sir. Speak your heart, how you see it, how you understand. You don't have to go along with nobody. Well done. Keep doing that, please. There are people out there who will always appreciate that. The truth.
Hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. It sounds like you said what exactly is on your heart, what you believe. Thank you very much.
Last one.
Mr. Mohammed, I'm wondering how you feel about the issue of referendum. Personally, I feel that should be something that make up our landscape, based on the fact that as it stands now, if a government decide to do a piece of tutu, we have to take that until the election comes. So even the first year out of 5, they do stupidness. We have to take that until. And I honestly believe that one of the things that we should try and push for is having that kind of referendum so that anything major, it must go to that for the majority of the people to decide. It's good enough, all right, the majority of the people deciding which party they want to run the government front bench for the next 5 years, but it had things that I don't think is fair that they should wait 5 years to vote them out because of what they did. With the referendum, they would have to, let's say, reverse that and say, well, hey, the people say no to that because look how many things there are on the law books that are not being serviced. And we are not hearing about it from the government. And they go along, come along, talk show hosts, and them, they're raising it too because this will make the party look bad. So that's my position. I don't know what is yours concerning referendum.
Okay, thank you. So let's go cashless. Let's go back to cashless.
So, okay, with regard to cashless, right? The first thing is this. We are not there yet. we have to take into consideration the culture of our country. We have to take into consideration the traditions and the belief systems of our country. There are aspects of our society, there are segments of our society who predominantly and religiously go to the bank to cash their pension check, to deposit their money, to come out with a little 200 or 300 to having their money, into having their bank, into having in their wallet. And we have to take into consideration that those things are important to a segment of society. There are people that are going to be able to use their bank cards. We have to take into consideration that if we want to go cashless, which I would assume is the use of bank cards instead of cash, there must be infrastructure in place to cater for that. And infrastructure, for example, I mean high-tech Wi-Fi bandwidth internet infrastructure, that when I go to the grocery and I pick up all of my groceries and I reach by the cashier only for the cashier, which happened to me a couple of weeks ago, for the cashier to tell me, well, the machine ain't working. So you know what I did? I said, well, listen, I'm not going to run to the bank and then come back and pay for this, She said, no, we'll pack it back for you. So cashless, you see, we want big dreams and big hopes, but we don't know how to deal with the basic issues first. And therefore, I'm not saying no to going cashless, but we're not there yet. We are comfortable right now using credit cards and bank cards. Let us stick to it. For example, he's talking about cashless. He's a hypocrite because he couldn't even put infrastructure in place and technological infrastructure in place for people to pay their property tax.
True.
And you had property tax thieves where people were robbing people, standing up in the line to pay property tax with money in their hand. So Embert needs to miss me with the hypocrisy, and he needs to understand that before we go cashless, right, we need to understand that the infrastructure has to be in place, that there are traditional people that still exist in our society, there are norms that you cannot force people into, and therefore it has to be taken in a tiered system. That's what I would say with regard to cashless. The other one was with regard to referendum. There are certain things constitutional arrangements that I agree with. 1, term limits for prime ministers. 2, the right to recall. 3, the right for a referendum. I think when it comes to major issues that touch and concern the welfare and the heritage of our people, I think, like, for example, the selling out of our assets, that referendums are important, and it should be done under special election conditions with the opportunity to vote.
Dr. Shane, think about fixed dates. Fixed dates.
Let me just put in that one. Yes, I believe in fixed dates as well. I believe, like the United States, there should be fixed dates for elections so that everybody is aware that the election date will be held on such and such time, and that people get the fair opportunity to put their house in order, and it is not at the whim and fancy of one man.
Dr. Shane, do you know that the government received a report from the Constitutional Committee?
Yes, they did.
And I have an editorial on that. Caller, go ahead. Caller, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Wall Street, because I remember you already red sunglasses and you red earphones that time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bisesta sister between 2012 and 2015 didn't come with term limits and certain things like around that level, like what Dr. Shea said?
Yes, it was proposed.
With the runoff bill, and I think was 2 terms of Prime Minister. And
yes,
the Red Army, remember the Red Army Wall Street? Yeah. With Aisha Wells, what she read Barrett. Protest by the Parliament. Yeah. Julia Davy lie down in the middle of the road. Kingsley in the middle of the road lie down protesting. Yeah. I remember that. That's what we want a referendum. Yeah. But the honorable Prime Minister at the time, Kamala Prasad-Bisesta, was bringing that to Parliament. And Dr. Rowley and them shut it down. Yeah. With the help of Aisha Wells with the Red Army.
Yeah.
And also, Dr. Shane, I wanna
Hey, let me say hello to Aisha Wells. Before defender, just now. Let me say hello to Aisha Wells. Aisha Wells, how are you?
With the red beret.
With the red beret.
Yeah. Dr. Shane, one more question. Speaking about cashless society, Dr. Shane, and I respect the guy who called and started the conversation, but he said something specific. When he said the poor, right? So, Dr. Shane, I'm going to ask you this question. Seeing that we have all these homeless people in Trinidad and Tobago, when we go cashless, how they can get the little $5 on the side of the street, the little $10 on the side of the street to buy something to eat? What we going to do? We're going to write on the ground for them? What we going to do? Send them a cash app? What we going to do? Credit the phone? I think Trinidad and Tobago is far away from that we shouldn't have having that as a conversation at this point in time. My humble view. Because what about the homeless? Let's think about that. Forget everything else. All the credit card and the middle class and what about the homeless people in Trinidad and Tobago who don't even have a bank account? Dr. Shana, responsible.
Let me take it a step further than that. The fact that there are so many homeless people in this country is a testament of the collapse of the social development and social infrastructure framework and the failure of the Minister of Social Development, right? That's one. Two, there should be rehabilitation centers for those persons who should be assessed to determine whether they are homeless by virtue of mental illness, addiction, etc., etc., etc. And there should be spaces in which those persons can be placed for rehabilitation and for re-entering into the society to contribute in a meaningful way. But you see, you bring another point into play. I did say that this Prime Minister, this government, this minister does not think about those that are on the baseline. They have no consideration for the poor, the downtrodden, the unemployed, the ones that are struggling to make ends meet, the ones that are on the road, the ones that are sleeping in cardboard boxes. They don't care about those people, right? In fact, they don't have to, most of them don't have to pass on Independence Square to see the extent of homelessness that is taking place on Independence Square and Promise and Harris Promenade and in front of the banks when people on a Sunday are begging for a little $2 to make ends meet. They are not experiencing when people who have abscesses on their face like I experienced, who was begging for $20 to buy antibiotics to be able to help her. The problem is that this government is completely and absolutely disconnected from every single sector, every single aspect of this society. They are only concerned with their friends and relatives and how they can go cashless for the benefit of the high and mighty. But this country needs to be fixed from the ground come up. And the infrastructure and the policies must be able to touch and concern the lives of those that are most vulnerable as we go up the chain. But this government has completely and absolutely denied and even ignored the fact that segments of the society like that exist. And that is an indictment on the fact that they are disconnected from the people. And then they want to come back and tell you, come and vote for me, and let me represent Port of Spain South and Port of Spain North and St. Anne's East. Until we send a clear message that those places will not just simply rock back and vote for the same thing over and over, but these people can be given the opportunity to contribute to the country in a way that suits their skill set and their training, then we are going in the right place and we're going in the right direction. But this government is strangling the economy, making people dependent on the government, and holding people back from being able to be productive and prosperous.
Hold on. Let's take this call. Caller, welcome. Caller.
Good afternoon, Dr. Chin. Good afternoon. Mr. Washington, the boy in the background, Uncle Tommy. I see my boy make you laugh, boy, make your body happy today. But Dr. Chin, you personally, the government actually don't care about poor people.
No.
This is that evil bureaucratless government. Dr. Chin, I get 10 out of 10 today. I take in the program, so I looked and listen. Wall Street.
Yo.
That's the program today. Dr. Shin, but of the government actually evil and wicked and heartless. Fire burn the PNM. I look to understand.
All right.
Now, Fox, listen,
You know what I don't understand earlier? Didn't I just say that those persons who are homeless need to be assessed to determine whether they are addicts, whether they are mentally unstable, whether they are substance abusers, so that they can be placed in homes and in centers to be rehabilitated? Did I not just say that?
You just said that, and but further to that, Fox Islam is describing drug addiction as something that's remote. It's an illness.
It is an illness. It is part, and it extends to mental health illness too.
That's correct.
My God, Alia, listen.
Let's listen to Mrs. Kamla Prasad Besessa on cashless.
Wish to use cash.
No, not
and
that
I
one.
tell you why it is so important that
I want to listen to this one first.
Wish to use.
Hold on, eh? Oh, what happened here now? Okay, it didn't download yet. Hold on. All right, here. Oh, two of them. All right. Anyway, listen to this. I'll have to upload that other one. Listen to this.
Wish to use cash. And I tell you why it is so important that people use cash. For example, I have in front of me, you're absolutely right, a good old £50 note. I owe you £50.
Yeah.
I pay you. You go to the hairdresser. You pay your £50. The hairdresser goes to the cafe, pays the coffee shop owner £50. The cafe owner goes to the restaurant, £50. The restaurant pays for the linen cleaning, £50. The value of the £50 remains £50. If, however, I pay you with a credit card straight away, I'm devaluing that £50 because I am paying 3% on average interest to a bank or a society that's given me that card, which is the equivalent of £1.50. You then follow that through, and everywhere you go, the hairdresser, the coffee shop, the restaurant, if you're paying with a card, you're losing 1.5% or £1.50 every time. So after 30 transactions with cash, you've still got £50 in value. If you've used your credit card, the value is now £5 because you've paid the bank £45 in fees. And that's why the banks want to encourage you to go cashless. Don't allow it to happen.
So let's listen to Mrs. Kamla Prasad Besessa now. Hold on.
Cashless society means the control and coercion of citizens. It will destroy your freedoms, your privacy, your rights and privileges that you currently have, because you will have no control over your own money to live. Which of you sitting here and listening, either here in this room or at home, or small business owner, big business owner, or pensioner, could kick down the bank's front door to stop them from emptying your private bank account because of an instruction from the minister or the TTRA that you owe taxes? And I know the government is proceeding full speed ahead to establish that TTRA.
There you go. So when you listen to certain people talk, you're wondering if they are listening with both ears or if they're only listening with one of their ears. Right? Hanif said, it looks like UNC is the police service, Mr. Gordon. How much the PNM killed so far, if that is the case? Bizram, welcome.
Yeah, good day, good day.
Good day.
Good day, Bizram.
I looked on here, man. I didn't hear you say nothing today about me. I don't know when you're sick, people just really forget you, boy.
Nah, we can't forget you at all.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to disrupt your program.
Nah, man. You know everything good with you on us.
Yeah, it coming up slowly. I acknowledge you on some program here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, no.
And I also acknowledge the hospital and acknowledge other people, you know. I post it up there, but probably didn't get a chance to watch it.
No,
I feel like you're.
Bizram, I saw it, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that is just when with family, sometimes you don't announce everything with family. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
And you prefer to announcing with Rowley, right? And you're suffering so much.
Yeah. We
All
prefer
right.
that. Yeah, man.
All right. I love to listen there, man. Look
Okay,
it up,
cool.
right?
Get
Yeah,
better with Bizram.
yeah. That's one of our lawyers there. Bijam was in the hospital, and we had called him. We just called him a day, and he was actually staying down in the Sandy Grande Hospital, and he had also undergo operation. And we kind of talk him through the operation, and things turned out well. Now he's back home. He's about
Very
85
nice.
now. So
Very nice. Very good.
we can't complain. But at the end of the day, Dr. Shane, all we are trying people to do is to try to think a little critical. Don't take, for example, Stuart Young said that Patriotic was involved in some type of fraud, right? To me, what Stuart Young should have done is on Friday, when they was out in the public domain, he should have also said that Patriotic was involved in some fraud with regard to the bill. But you know something, Dr. Mohammed and Uncle Tommy, I hear them talk nothing about Oando PLC of Nigeria that
Well,
was
I
paid
was now going to say the same thing.
in corruption. I'm like, and it is like, and the
I
PNM
am
people.
also concerned. I am also concerned, Tommy, and Slim. And I'm glad you said that. I am concerned about the other company.
Inca.
And it is not Inca, the one
PRO consortium.
The one that is local, right?
Yes.
Who's local? Is it CRO or Inca? I ain't sure.
CRO is the local one. Inca is not is out of South America, if I'm not, or Mexico. I am concerned about the local one. We need to investigate and check and see who are the board of directors and who are the people involved in that company, because it could very well be it would be their friends and family.
Oh, I go look that up.
And very that raised red flags to me.
But listen to this, once I see the names in the budget, right, and I say, well, I know that Scotia did their homework, and the PNM government go do a little bit of homework. Just take a little 2 minutes and Google the name. A little 2 minutes. No, nothing. And if what they could have done, they could have gone to 91.9. They could have the pastor with the internet search engine name, have him Google them, and they would have figured out.
I am very, very, very concerned about the CRO consortium, because I want to know who that is, who makes up that local consortium of persons, because that's a new organization that we're hearing from. And this country cannot afford, we have to do our homework, and we have to be able to determine who exactly are we handing our assets to. And quite frankly, I would have preferred if we have to lease the refinery rather than run it ourselves. And he keeps talking, Imbert kept talking about getting these organizations to run the refinery at no cost to the population of Trinidad, and Tobago. And let me tell you this. You see, when it comes to the refinery, if the operationalization of the refinery is done within best practices, within proper HR practices, within proper management and hiring practices, I don't think the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago's population is going to have a problem spending their money to know that their asset is protected.
Now, listen to this, right? Okay, I couldn't find specific information on the board of directors for the CRO Consortium of Trinidad. But CRO Consortium in Trinidad and Tobago is a group involved in the bid to restart the Point of Pierre refinery. The consortium is composed of several local and international companies, including DR Communities Limited, our primary board of directors, Chemi Tech, and Ocala. They were shortlisted alongside bidders like US-based Inca Energy LLC and Nigeria-based Owando PLC for the purchase and operation of the refinery. So let me see if they have any information about the board of directors. Now, let me see something. Board of directors of DR Commodities Limited. Let me see. Try to do thing right on the spot. Right on the spot. Who are the board of directors? Who are the board of directors of DR Commodities? Oh, they into commodities, boy. DR Commodities. Oh, they into commodities. Oh, yeah. Oil and gas. COMMODITIES. Commodities Limited, Trinidad. Let me see if anything comes up. All right, they couldn't find anything.
Right.
I will look it up after. And the other one is Chemitech. I don't know who's Chemitech. Let me see. Let me see if I can find anything for that quickly. Chemitech. Who's the board of directors of Chemitech? Okay. Of Chemitech Trinidad. CHEMMIE Chemitech Trinidad. Who are the board of directors? Hold on, let me make sure I just spelling correct. CHEMIE Chemitech. Okay. So I hope this is the same company. Let me see. Yes, this is the same company. The key management team at Chemitech includes several notable individuals. Yusuf Ali Sodaga, Chief Procurement, Balas Bremion Sanjivi, Director of Contracts and Legal, HP Maru, Head of Business Development. Let me see something. Chemitech. Let me see if I make sure that's in Trinidad. That I don't know. All right, we gotta do more homework. I gotta do more homework on that.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
But that's a good point though. That's a very good point. PNM Fox says patriotic added. Therefore, whatever document the minister was brandishing is totally irrelevant. You know, to me, that is just trying to shift the goalposts. As far and Tommy, what did you just say again, Tommy? What is that? Distractions. Totally distraction. Right?
I agree. And the thing about it is, it's I am concerned by it's easy for a minister of finance to get up and say X, Y, and Z are the 3 persons that have been shortlisted for the bid. But as you correctly said about the one in Nigeria, in Ghana, is it Owando?
Yeah, Owando in Nigeria.
Owando in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about the one when he specifically talked about a local consortium. And I'm like, you see that? That is something that needs to be investigated.
Thanks for giving me some homework. I will do some homework.
And let me tell you something. At no point in time did the UNC say that Patriotic should get the refinery. At no point in time did the UNC ever say that Patriotic should be given the refinery. In fact, I don't believe that the refinery should be run by a former, by elements of a trade union. Because doing it this time around, it needs to be done properly. It needs to be run like a business, not like a damn parlor.
So folks, put your closing quotes in the chat, put your closing comments and quotes in the chat, and send your voice notes if you have any closing voice notes. Let me play these last 2 voice notes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washi. Good afternoon, Uncle Tommy and Dr. Shane. Dr. Shane, Right now, Kamala talking the righteous talk right now what the people want to hear and the ground. Kamala has the grounds right now. But the talk people want to hear, this government only talk about race talk and bacchanal talk. People don't want to hear that. This government actually don't care about poor people, but the government heartless and wicked and stink and evil, but fire burn the PNM. I see it every day now. Dr. Shane and the ground. I see how evil and wicked the PNM government to the own people too. Good afternoon, Mr. Washit and Uncle Tommy. Washit. Friday gone, the doctor only start the campaign day. They gonna pick a corner day. Remember last year they pick a corner, the last one promoter of parliament. You see what going with him? He gonna tell lie and while up his supporters and them. So all every talk shows at 91.9, Pastor Google and Mr. Licious, all of them coming with that propaganda machine. How evil and stink and wicked as PLN government. Fire bully PNM. Uncle Tommy, enjoy your birthday, more life attention. I want a piece of cake and some ice cream, boy. Love and respect.
All right. Enough ice cream and cake for you.
Hold on. You understand a virtual cake. Hold on one more.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Hansen, Mr. Tommy, hey, Mr. Hansen, Mr. Shane, forget one thing. What about this first past the post? Why we don't change that?
No.
Yeah, you know. Let me see if I could get this in here before we go. I did a. Let me see if I could. You know what? Let me see if I have it in here. I did an editorial on that and on that report, But let me just see something.
No, I would say no to first. I would know we shouldn't change first past the post. Why? Because it should be a hybrid system where the Senate is done by proportional representation, but the first past the post remains in the House of Representatives. If we as a people, I'm saying this without apology, our politicians and our current cadre of political minds are not ready for proportional representation. And proportional representation has been proven to cause consistent destabilization of governments. And that is not something we want. And it is not something good for a small developing island state like Trinidad and Tobago. So the best thing to do is let us stick to first past the post, where it's never too late to shift to a three-party system and let the best men win. But the point of the matter is that the stability of government and governance and democracy is important, and the proportional representation is a set of negotiations, is a formula. It is if you don't cross a certain amount in terms of percentage within the according to all if you don't cross a certain percentage of the overall number of seats within the parliament, then you don't form the government, and then you are required to do negotiations. Those negotiations could last a longer period of time depending on if you're dealing with persons who you don't align with on certain ideology and philosophy and belief system and that sort of thing, which then delays the governance process. So no.
So before
it's easy, Tommy, and it is easy to talk about it, but when you get into the nitty-gritty of it, it is more complicated than just the word and the phrase, to be quite honest.
All right, so folks, we're gonna go for the quick break. I want to come back. We have a quick editorial. We're gonna go for the quick break, folks. Don't forget the Sunday Talk with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walsh, Dr. Shane and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. That's every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you. Sunday Talk. Let's talk politics with Uncle Tommy, Professor Walsh, Dr. Shane and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Before we go, Dr. Shane, I had a quick editorial because since people brought up the this first past the post, and there was a report of the National Advisory Committee on Constitutional Reform dated July 2024. I don't know if the government released this report, but somehow I got a copy of the report and I did a quick editorial. So I want you guys to listen to this quickly. Okay. There we go.
The 2024 report on constitutional reform of Trinidad and Tobago aims to modernize the nation's 1976 Republican Constitution. Key proposals include expanding individual rights, social, cultural, and environmental, improving government accountability, implementing proportional representation, and enhancing public service efficiency. Other recommendations involve eliminating outdated colonial laws, strengthening judicial independence, and increasing transparency in political funding. The report also emphasizes Tobago's autonomy, supports local government devolution, and advocates for a more participatory democracy with measures like referendums and fixed election dates. Here are examples of each key recommendation from the 2024 report on constitutional reform of Trinidad and Tobago. 1. Expanded rights. The report suggests adding environmental rights that would guarantee citizens' right to a clean and sustainable environment. 2. Improved accountability. Introducing point campaign finance reform, ensuring transparency in political donations and spending, aims to curb political corruption. 3. Proportional representation, replacing the first past the post FPTP system with proportional representation in the Senate to ensure a fairer reflection of voters' preferences. Public service efficiency, proposing a new framework for public service reforms, such as giving permanent secretaries greater authority to manage their ministries efficiently. 5. Colonial law removal. The removal of the savings clause to abolish outdated laws that stem from colonial rule, allowing modern laws to prevail. 6th, judicial independence, strengthening the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, JLSC, to include broader oversight of judicial officers, which enhances the integrity of the judiciary. 7. Tobago autonomy, proposing the devolution of lawmaking and executive powers to the Tobago Island government, enhancing self-governance. 8. Proportional representation in elections. Implementing proportional representation in the election of senators ensures that minority parties are represented. 9. Referendums. Introducing national referendums, allowing citizens to vote directly on key issues such as constitutional amendments. 10. Fixed election dates. Establishing fixed dates for elections to enhance transparency and prevent manipulation by incumbents. These examples illustrate how the report seeks to modernize the Constitution to address Trinidad and Tobago's evolving governance, social, and political needs.
You know, I don't see how the PNM already said they're not going to introduce certain of those items, right? Right, Dr. Shane?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see how they are really going to. These are recommendations. Maybe they might go into disposable files too. I don't know.
No, let me tell you something. I would say this. I always believed, I never believed that the Constitutional Reform Committee was done with the true intention of bringing about constitutional reform. And I said then, I would say no, it didn't represent the vast cross-section of the demographic of Trinidad and Tobago. It consisted of a bunch of old men and women, sad to say, who didn't understand the growing needs and the demands that are required for a developing nation to be able to move forward. And there are recommendations that are needed to be able to be more inclusive as a society and to be able to respect people greater and to be able to protect people in a greater manner. And we love to walk around with our head in the sand and behave like ostriches, and we like to push things under the carpet and behave as if certain things don't exist. And I have a problem with that because we have to face reality. Our society has quite a few new generations within it, and they have a whole new thinking and a whole new perspective on life and how things are and how things exist. And therefore, we must be able to embrace those thoughts, perspectives, ideas, and values as well. And quite frankly, this Constitutional Reform Committee did not represent that. And if you look at what the report said, they had a very low turnout by young people. And the reason for that is why there was no relatability. And it comes back to me saying that if the UNC is to be successful in the general election, it has to be able to choose candidates that are relatable to persons from an intellectual perspective, young people from a charismatic perspective, people who can speak the language of young people, people who can articulate the policies of the government, the incoming government, in a manner where all sectors of society can understand, as well as to put personalities that people will have trust and confidence in. It cannot be about loyalty only, because as far as I'm concerned, the stats and the results shows that the 2020 general election and the 2015 general election was based on the loyalty to the leader, and it resulted in a loss. And we are, again, I'm reiterating, at a crossroads in our country's democracy, where we cannot, it is not business as usual. We have to come out of our comfort zones.
So Dr. Shane, what I like to do, right? I like to invite you back sometime so we could dedicate specifically. I want to do a program specifically on the UNC and the type of candidates I personally, I would like to see the UNC infused into their political dynamics. So at least they don't make the same type of mistake they made previously. So, we're going to have a fair discussion on that, but I like to do that. So, folks.
Dr. Shane, are you aware if they started screening candidates yet?
They haven't started screening candidates as yet. And as I tell people, that this is a competition, and there's a lot of things that they're working on in the background, and therefore, they need to be given the opportunity to work on their strategies and formulate their plans and that sort of thing. And you never know, just as KPB was able to take the country by storm on Friday, it could very well result in a whole new dynamic, all things being good and all things working for the greater good of the country.
So I had this voice note here since early. Let me play this voice note.
Wall Street and Uncle Tommy. It's kind of ironic that with that.
Hold on, man. KFC.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Wall Street. We played behind the Kings tonight. Back in Caribbean team tonight. Curry chicken. The Robbie put all the lights. So we back in the Kings tonight.
Okay, correct. All right.
All right, bless.
Yeah. Let me finish play this voice note.
Of the pedophile ring that all other people, because of our 9-day memory, forgot that whole scenario with the list of persons, prominent persons in affluent community who were actually being investigated for interfering with underage girl. And another thing that people kind of forget there, that there was a home for girls in Belmont that was mysteriously moved under some questionable circumstances. I mean, nobody is saying that. And also there's PNM financer, what his name I can mention because his matters in the public domain, Emini Elias. He's under some sad charges, However, nobody's saying nothing about his matter. Nobody really highlighted his matter. So, but the fact of a pedophile ring within the PNM have always been there. They still have the cries of, I think it was Akeem Chambers, and all those cries out there. I mean, all those, have been swept under the rug per se. But I mean, it's time that, we do something and fight it, it's sure that of these countries are endangered by under attack.
Thank you. So my closing quote is, folks, send your closing quotes. Let me get my closing quote. Then we're gonna hear, we're gonna get Dr. Muhammad give his closing comments, and then we are out of here. Let me see. Okay. Life can look so different in just a few short months. Keep going. Life can look so different in just a few short months. Keep going. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, what I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, for every 60 seconds of anger, You lose 1 minute of happiness. Remember, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Dr. Marbet, any closing words before you go?
I just wanted people to be vigilant, ask questions. You know, this is not a time for, it's a time for a period for objectivity and rational. And really and truly, it's not about whether you've been born PNM, born UNC. I have been advocating for the PNM to be better, and I've been advocating for the UNC to be better. We're down to the wire. The PNM has not been proven to be better. And the UNC, I just said, has to be better. And there's a reason why they need to be better. And the challenge is always for them to be better. I commend Mrs. Prasad Sessa on what she delivered on Friday. It was extraordinary. Even sources within the media talked about how important and how impressed they were. So, I mean, this is just not from me, coming from me. And it's not that I am looking to wave a UNC flag. I give credit where it's due. And when criticism is due, they get it. But going forward, the next couple of months will be very interesting. And try to not let the government pull wool over your eyes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amlet. See you. Take care.
Take care. All right.
All right. Bye. Yeah, man. There we go.
Yeah, life appears to me too short to be spent nursing animosity or registering wrongs. I always say, you have to become that change. You, the man in the mirror, have to become that change you want to see. However, when you look in that mirror, if you don't like what you see, do not blame the mirror. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand up. Love you all. Be safe. See you tomorrow evening, God willing, in the village. Good night.
Thank you. Let's play these closing voice notes here. Let me see. Mr. Atlanta says, "Hey, quickly, yo."
But yeah, today wasn't Patrick Migo election.
I ain't sure. I will call. I
think so, no.
I will call Fuad. I'll call Fuad and see.
Yeah, fine from him.
Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, let me see. Mr. Atlanta says, post the truth. Whether they love you, hate you, unfriend you, or block you, we are here to feed the sheep, not to entertain the goats. You hear that one? Mr. Atlanta said that. Post the truth, whether they love you, hate you, unfriend you, or block you. We are here to feed the sheep, not to entertain the goats. There we go. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we here to talk the facts, the whole facts. All right, Mr. Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Hanslim. Good evening, Mr. Tommy. Good evening, Mr. Hanslim. Blessings to you guys. Blessings to your family. Good evening to Mr. Sheen. Thank you very much. Blessings to you and all your family. Blessings to all the callers, everybody on the live. Let everybody be safe. Mr. Sheen, thank you very much. We appreciate all the knowledge that you share with us today. I hope to see you a lot more. And hear this now, Mr. Tommy. I know this is a song for you because this is a song I want to sing for Rowley.
All right.
Wow. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for all the good wishes today.
All right, Tommy. Let me get this other one here.
My closing comments. I've heard some things that, yeah, that's just what I did. I laughed. So probably we could rename this boy the comedy hour. So you have the comedy hour and then you have the serious part. So I don't know if you want to do that, consider that either the first part or the second part, so that at some part we'll have seriousness and the next part we'll have the comedy hour, so that at least it will be easier for people now. You understand? Well, thank you, Mr. Shane. And oh gosh. Look, everybody, have a real good evening, okay? Remember that God is love. Nothing can change that. You see, if you experience that, I'm telling you, you will not hate. You will not hate. You will not try to render evil for evil. You will try to build rather than to break down. You will try to help rather than to hurt. Read some of the things in the chat and you'll realize that, hey, we are not all gone. We are not all far gone at all. No. And at the end of the day, at the beginning of the night, the people decide. Under God, yeah. All the bless.
Mr. Atlanta says to Uncle Tommy, may your birthday be filled with joy, love, and all the good things life has to offer. You deserve it all and more. There you have it, Tommy.
Thank you, Mr. Atlanta.
Tommy, you gain all the wishes. You gain more wishes than anything. I think, let me see if that's it for let's see if that's it for voice notes. Okay, yeah. Tommy, that is it for it. Let me see. No, that's it. No, I don't think that's a voice note. All right, let's go to the chat. PNM Fox closing comment. Patriotic added, therefore, documents the minister was brandishing is totally irrelevant. Ansel Roger can make a jail for fraud, yet he's always talking about corruption. Okay. Yes, just check it. Okay, today's Trinbago election. Okay. Says, thanks, Dr. Sheen, 100%, 100 for your contributions. Hope may more with your credentials should be courageous. Fox says 25% of the population agreed Bethesda and 75% were not on a budget response Friday. Ward Maloney says, don't tell Wall Street that UNC must be better, cussing him. Okay. All right. SWS says, and sometime change. Laugh out loud, not personal though. Nah, nothing personal. No, they are talking about what some UNC bigwig talk about the sections in it. Okay. Closing comments. All right, we read that one already. Highly closing comments. A business owner never uses his own money to create a business. A business owner uses his own money to borrow loans and get investors. Mean Gene says, very interesting program today. Oh well, I guess everyone got their grievances and frustration out. Volsang closing comment. Hope the people get to breathe soon. These the PNM are stifling the people of this country. Robin Sukrat says, pleasant good evening, everyone watching from Virgin Islands. I think that's it. That's it for the closing comments. Folks, we are out of here. See you tomorrow. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel from 7 to 10 p.m. on In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you. We out of here.
This is oh Lord, Trinidad and Tobago. This is DJ Bravo. I'm hurting you know. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up against parliament economy. But let the moderators in another body in a dream. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody's sunburn. Who take the F out of Port of Spain. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turned into a sad place. Now with the love, with the vibes, with the hope. Now tell me something, how we really want we cope. When the children breathing in too much gun smoke. And the Coast Guard can never see a boat. Yes, I'm like some goats when they come looking for votes. Hit the empty promises, reading like a horoscope. Justice for sale in a fat envelope. Politically, all the answers is a joke. This is a sad place. My country turned into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turn into a sad place. All I see in front of me, nightmares turn into reality. Like somebody build a monster factory. Parliament up in the parliament economy. But look the moderator saying another body in a jail. Somebody girl child missing, another rape again. And next road stain with somebody's son brain. Who take the S out of Port of Spain? This is a sad place. My country turn into a sad place. When I look around, it's only sad face. Our country turn into a sad place. It doesn't matter the religion, the color, the creed, or the race. It's our responsibility to take care of our place.